Good evening from Owlerton Stadium here in the heart of Sheffield, where tonight the Tigers take on the Ipswich Witches in the Sports Insure Premiership. A very warm welcome here in the pits at Sheffield. I say it's warm, it's pretty chilly, but it's dry. As always, we're in the company of Kelvin Tatum. Kelvin, it's a busy time of the season.
It is. There's plenty going on out there. All the leagues running, of course, the World Championship with 3 Grand Prix in June. So, yeah, it's been a busy spell, but it always is through the summer.
Well, let's bring you up to speed with all the Speedway that's been going on around the country here in the UK since we were last on air. The Aces beat Wolves at home. It's Wolves' heaviest defeat of the season. 57-33 the final score there. The return leg this evening. It was a monsoon here in Sheffield last Monday, and we're hoping the weather's going to behave itself tonight. It was Tigers versus Panthers. The meeting had to be abandoned after 10 heats, but the score remained 37-23. And the Lions continue their charge. They had a win over the Panthers at Leicester last Thursday. Max Frick, who we're looking at in sparkling form here in Heat 15, with another maximum. And this is what it means then for the overall table. Last year's champions are out in front on 29 points, but they have raced more meetings than anyone else. Leicester showing they mean business in their return to the Premiership, and now up to second, Wolverhampton down to third. Sheffield Tigers currently in 4th position, but with Ipswich Witches in 5th and only 2 points separating the two sides, you can see why tonight's meeting is so critical. It's been a tough year for many reasons for both Kings Lynn and Peterborough, and they're at the bottom of the standings. So it is nicely poised this evening, Calvin. It is a crucial meeting, particularly for Ipswich.
Indeed it is. They have a 12-point lead on the aggregate score, but they came here earlier in the season and got beaten quite comfortably by the home team. But yeah, it's like a knockout every time they come racing. You know, it's like an FA Cup final effectively. They've got to keep winning, get on a momentum, because it's tough times. They were one of the pre-season favourites, but it hasn't quite gone to plan for them so far.
And we were obviously at Vauxhall, where it was a brilliant meeting, and it was Ipswich Witches that had the advantage there with 12 points, like you say, but coming here knowing that they've lost here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So they need to hang on to that as an absolute minimum, that 12-point lead, because we've got the extra bonus point effectively for that this year. So yeah, they'll be looking at that, but really and truthfully, I think they're fired up to try and put as much pressure on the Sheffield team as possible. It's going to be difficult, but they've got 2 big hitters in Doyle and Sayfutdinov, and Heat 13 at Vauxhall was the race of the year so far.
Yeah, and Sheffield, though, really consistent, and they brought in Josh Pickering, who's, you know, he's a trier on the track, and he's such a character off it. Yeah,
he's a fan favourite. He's giving 100% on the track. His body language, you know, just endears himself to the fans. So good signing by Sheffield, and they want to go one better, don't they? They just got pipped to the post by the Bellevue Aces last year. Simon Stead gutted by that. They got so close. So they've got big ambitions for this year.
Kelvin, thank you so much. Let's join Scott Nichols now with the captains and the coin toss.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Joining with the 2 captains and that all-in-point coin toss. I'm going to come to you first, Danny. Danny, you've got a 12-point lead, and you boys desperately need some points away from home.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if we're going to make them playoffs, we've got to pick up points on the road as winning, obviously winning at home. So it's going to be tough, but, you know, we lost it a few weeks back, but, you know, we've all had a ride around here now. Some of the new lads haven't been here before, but now they have. So, you know, we're coming here to win, not just try and keep the deficit.
Yeah, definitely. So those boys that haven't been here before, how much can they learn from their experience last time here?
Yeah, a lot. It's a big track, but it's crucial where you ride on the track, and obviously having a meeting here already will help them a lot.
Cool, thanks, Danny. Kyle, you boys lost your first home defeat a couple of weeks ago. How much is that driving you on to redeem that and turn things around tonight?
Yeah, we obviously had a little blip. We've been going good at home this year. We've had some really big wins, and look, Leicester come and they just beat us from the start, and that was it. And we tried, but it just didn't happen. We regrouped last week and got a big win at Kings Lynn away. So look, we want another big win at home to get the ball rolling again for us.
Yeah, definitely. So 12 points is a fair lead for the Witches, but like you said, you've had some big wins at home, so you feel you're up for the game.
Yeah, for sure. We're a solid outfit, and there's no reason why we can't keep that going. We've been great this season at home. Like I said, just one little blip don't make us a bad team overnight. So we'll come back fighting, and you know, to go to Kings Lynn and get a really big away win was a boost for us. The boys are all fired up. We know Ipswich have a good, solid team, 1-7, and we know what they're capable of. So look, we're ready for it.
Okay, we're talking already. I'm going to get ready to do the coin toss. I'm going to get you to call Danny. Tailsies, I'm afraid. Kyle, are you going Heat 1 or Heat 15?
We're going to go 2 and 4.
In Heat 1. Thanks, Scott. Cheers, boys. Good luck. Over to you, Abby.
Scott, thank you. Well, a couple of hours ago, there was rain here in Sheffield. We're all under shelter, looking at the weather, hoping it was going to pass, and it has, thankfully. Let's see what that has meant for the track. Here's Calvin.
Delighted to be here at Owlerton in Sheffield for tonight's Premiership match, and we have had some rain, but fortunately it has blown through. And to be honest, I've had a good look at the track and I've walked around, and I've got to say the track's in good shape. They haven't worked it too hard, they've just been rolling it in. Dirtometer out as always, right down on the inside of the exit of turn number 4. Look at that, plenty of grip there. So I've got to say, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see guys actually using the inside early on. That's pretty much standard fare. Middle of the track, you can see there's quite a lot of loose stones on here. Although there's a bit of dirt and the dirtometer is going in, I sense early on it could be a bit marbly here, a bit of wheel spin, so probably not the place to be. And later on, because they haven't ripped the outside, it's quite firm here, and that is unusual. And I suspect the home team will have to consider that because of the rain around this afternoon. I don't think that's what they would ordinarily encounter here. So that may just favour the Witches tonight. As I say, the rain has gone through. The track actually looks mint. I'm quite excited about the racing coming up. We saw a terrific match between these two teams at Foxhall Heath, particularly Heat 13. It was probably the race of the season so far. So plenty of quality on show, and I'm sure we're going to be in for a thriller because Ipswich Witches have got to keep winning if they want to make the top 4. Do not miss it.
Cal, thank you. I'm loving the use of the word mint there to describe the track. It's an adjective that's not used enough, in my opinion. OK, we've got another meeting taking place this evening. We've got our cameras at Monmouth Green. That's the return fixture between Wolverhampton Wolves and Bellevue Aces. Here's Dave Rowe with the team news.
Well, Bellevue have a 7-point lead at the top of the table. The defending champions look set for the playoffs once again, and they were very impressive last week, defeating Wolverhampton 57-33 at home. That puts them in a strong position for the aggregate points. A change in the rising star berth for the Aces. Connor Bailey is in to replace Jake Mulford, who's out with a broken ankle, and he makes his debut tonight. Bellevue have only lost 2 of their last 14, but one of them was here at the end of May. Wolves won that meeting 46-44, and Monmouth is very much a fortress. 6 home matches, 6 wins. They too look good for the playoffs. They were edged out at Ipswich on Thursday in a last heat decider, but our own Scott Nicholls made a guest appearance. Tonight is rider replacement for Luke Becker. He's targeting next Monday for a comeback from his hand injury, but crucially, everyone can take an extra ride, and they hit 65 points against Kings Lynn last time out here. For Bellevue, a very strong away record. We saw them win recently at Peterborough. The top 3 have all been very powerful. Dan Bewley backed up by Brady Kurtz, who scored 14+1 here in May, and Jamin Lidsey enjoying a great season back in the UK. It's normally a cracker when these two go head-to-head. And Monmouth Green, it's Wolverhampton against Bellevue.
So in a few moments' time, the guys will be out on track for the Riders' Parade. As we've mentioned, it is an important clash this evening, especially for Ipswich, which is only 2 points separating these two teams in the table. Ipswich need the win, but Sheffield will want to consolidate their position. Let's hand over to Calvin now for the Riders' Parade.
Thanks very much, Abby, and good evening, everybody. It's a little bit overcast and a bit breezy out there, but we'll take a look at the visitors tonight. And we've got young Dan Thompson coming forward now, the rising star for the Ipswich Witches, and his twin brother actually, Joe, was in the side up until fairly recently. I've got to say Danyon Hume is out next, and he's a rider that is very much a wholehearted rider and a really enthusiastic young lad, and scores vital points at the right time. So we'll be keeping an eye out for Danyon tonight. We've now got one of the big hitters, of course, the Grand Prix star, former world champion Jason Doyle. Now there's been a switch to the riding order for the Ipswich Witches. Jason has been riding at number 1, but he has now, as a consequence of the new averages, he is down at number 5. Erik, who has had some health issues this year, which has really curtailed his appearances this season, certainly for the Ipswich Witches. And we've been keeping our fingers crossed that Erik is now returning to full health. And now my man to watch, he is the captain of the Ipswich Witches, Danny King. He's had a return to form of late, and I feel that he is going to be crucial to the outcome of tonight's meeting. If he can really support Sayfutdinov and Doyle tonight, they could put plenty of pressure on the home team. And and on his night, Danny can produce some sterling performances. Keynan, a rider from Australia, is beginning to really find his feet for the Ipswich Witches now, and he moves to number 2. And now Emil Sayfutdinov, who has taken the league by storm this year. He really has been outstanding, and as a consequence, he finds himself now in the number 1 berth. And Emil Sayfutdinov, who's really enjoying his career with the Ipswich Witches. So that's the visitors for you. We'll take a look at the home team. Gilkes, the rising star for the Sheffield Tigers. And another young rider gaining valuable experience. Now the captain, of course, Howarth down at number 6. Valuable rider to have at number 6, of course. Carl, another 100% try, and the fans love him here. Been here for several seasons now. Tobiasz Musielak riding at number 5. He can turn it on in style. Really eye-catching rider from Poland. And I don't think it'll be too much longer before we see him in the Grand Prix itself. And Tobiasz, a real professional throughout. Now Josh Pickering, a new signing, my man to watch tonight, knows this place like the back of his hand. He's been transferred across from the King's Lynn Stars, and Josh, I think, is a very handy signing indeed for the Sheffield Tigers. Could he be the man that just could be a catalyst to see this team going all the way this year? Former British champion Adam Ellis now riding at number 3. Has been a little up and down this year, but on his night he can be a very hard man to beat, and I'm sure he's looking forward to this evening. Kerr has been terrific since he arrived midway through last year for the Sheffield Tigers. Really has picked up his form. Probably never ridden better, Louis, and a very handy man to have at number 2 when we look forward to heat number 8. And the main man, of course, number 1, Jack Holder, riding at number 1. He's lying second in the World Championship, but Jack has been in sparkling form of late, nigh on unbeatable around here at Owlerton. So super to see him here. So they're the 2 teams for you, and not too much longer before we go head-to-head tonight in this crucial Premiership match. And I'm sure it will be very entertaining indeed. As I say, the rain has gone through. Track conditions are looking nigh on ideal, and we're not too much longer before we get underway with the racing. But we'll get back down to Abby just for a moment now.
Kelv, thank you. Well, we're poised for a brilliant night of Speedway as Jack Holder is going to make his way back into the pits. I'll just make sure that our cameraman doesn't get hit as he comes through. Now, you were all part of the conversation when we were last time out in action at Peterborough. We want you to do the same. So the hashtag tonight, I mustn't giggle, but it is Sheeps. Okay, so Sheeps, use that hashtag, and I'll make sure that I get all your questions to Scott and to Calvin later on in the programme. Okay, here in Sheffield, it is the Tigers versus the Witches, and it's up next. We are joined by Sheffield Tigers rider Josh Pickering. Josh, first of all, actually, before we go into how it came about that you're back with Sheffield, you were out for 2 months, nasty shoulder injury. How are you feeling?
Yeah, on the mend now. Thankfully, it has been a long time coming, I suppose, of bit of an ordinary start to the year. I was only 6 matches in until I got injured, and in the 8.5 weeks that I was off for, I ended up missing 33 fixtures within the 4 clubs that I race for, you know, with both teams in England, Poland and Denmark. So a big chunk of my racing has already been taken out of this year, and then, yeah, when times were fit again, this sort of worked out logistically the best way to go.
How hard is that psychologically to manage that sort of length of time out?
It's not so much the time out. Like, the old saying is, you never forget to ride a bike, and it's no different to this stuff. It's just you do miss your sharpness in certain things, and maybe some decisions you go to make with your bike, you may lose the fine tuning as well. But like, mentally, I feel fine. I feel, you know, back to normal now. My shoulder, I've accepted it of how it is right now. At the moment, I can manage. I've just been strapping it, and that's been getting me through the meetings. But you know, it's just one of them injuries where it don't require surgery, it's just time. And unfortunately with Speedway, you don't really have a lot of time.
You're back, and you're back the Tigers, not with Kings Lynn, as many people may have imagined.
Yeah, when I did separate from Kings Lynn, it was the best time for the team then to do that. If they were, for example, was to keep me, it was a question mark on when I could return, if I could return. They would have effectively been sacking someone else to bring in Artem, and in doing that, it would have left them with a 6-man team, which I sat down and had a discussion with both Alex, Brady and Doyle, and we sort of seen the best at that time of when it did come about. It was more for the team's best interest for me to part ways. I did intentionally want to go back there. That was the original plan, but then over time past, they did have the 1-7 team. They were just starting to find their feet with Artem. Then when I was sort of looking at ready to come back, I had the opportunity to come here, and I've just bought a house in Doncaster, which is only half an hour away. So logistically, I looked at all the fixtures which marry up from here to my other Scottish club, and then also abroad in Poland. And for me, it's the best time right now.
And Josh, you're such a character. So how is it back with this group of guys?
Yeah, no, I know all the boys quite well, and a few of them from 2021 team. I've known Jack for over 10, 15 years, and then also Adam, he come out and spent a few weeks with us in Oz. So I'm well aware, and I know them all, and I fit in here very well, and the management's great. There's no pressure on me. I've got a team of 6 other boys that are doing a great job, and there's no pressure on myself, so I can just get back into the swing of things.
Well, Josh, it's great to have you back, and this is an important meeting tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a must-win. They're a great team. I haven't got the chance to race Emil yet, so hopefully I can show him the back of me, and then we can get the win for the boys.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Welcome back. Before we get underway with the meeting here in Sheffield, just a reminder of all the motorsport that's coming your way across the platform. We've got the World Superbikes, round 7 then, Imola, and that's Eurosport 2, Saturday 8:30. For the Speedway Grand Prix, we're in Sweden, the second half of the season. Melilla, round 6. Coverage starts with the studio show at 5:30 on Saturday. The FIM Motocross World Championship in Czech Republic. You can catch that Sunday at 12 on Discovery Plus Live. And the British Superbikes is round 6 for them, and they're in Brands Hatch, and that's the 22nd and 23rd of July. But here in Sheffield, it is Tigers versus Witches. It's time for Heat 1. Your commentator this evening, Kelvin Tatum.
Thank you very much, Abby. I'm thoroughly looking forward to this. Riders just making their way out onto the track for the first time this evening. The coin toss was won by the home team, and they've elected to go out at gates 2 and 4 in the opening race. And that means that the Ipswich Witches will get the choice in Heat 15 later on. Jack Holder is out here, and Jack has been in fabulous form. He's been nigh on unbeatable round the Owlerton track in recent times. And Jack, who's having a fine season, of course, in the Grand Prix as well, lying second in the World Championship. He really is a rider that is in the form of his life. And it's a fabulous matchup here in the opening race with Emil Sayfutdinov going into the #1 berth for the Ipswich Witches with the change to their riding order. So we are in for a sparkling start here this evening, no question about that. It could be action-packed throughout the 15 races we have. Crucial night, of course, for the Witches. They are outside the top 4. They're in 5th, and they have raced one more meeting than the Sheffield Tigers. So this really is an important night of Speedway. Heat #1 then is with us, and on the inside is the Australian rider Keynan in yellow. Gate #2 in blue is Kerr. Coming out of gate #3 in white is Emil Sayfutdinov, and off the outside in red is Jack Holder. As I said prior to the lineup, 2 big hitters there on the outside. Simon Stead, the Sheffield Tigers team manager, certainly was a terrific rider around here as well. He's a local man and still very much involved in the sport, not just with the domestic Racing, but also with Team Great Britain as well. Holder then on the outside, desperate to get away to a good start. Start marshal just bringing the riders under control. Here we go then. Green lights on and we're underway very quickly indeed. And what a start from Jack Holder from the outside. Absolutely flew away from there and is comfortable already with only half a lap completed. Into second place is Keynan with Emil Sayfutdinov back in third. Oh, drama at the back there with Louis Kerr getting it all wrong in turns 3 and 4. Will the red lights come on? They have indeed. An awkward moment there for Kerr. Just got it wrong there. Looked like he just lost traction. He's holding his arm, so concern for Louis Kerr, who's been a pivotal rider for the Sheffield Tigers. Just in a little bit of discomfort there on the centre green, but bike was left in the track, so clearly the right decision from the referee there, Craig Ackroyd. Just see what happens here again. He's at the back and coming into turn 3. Yeah, the back tyre just literally lets go and he lands heavily there on the right side. So let's keep our fingers crossed that Louis Kerr is okay. Seeing it again. So there will be a rerun here with 3 riders, of course, but concern still for Louis Kerr, who is in some discomfort, and he did land awkwardly on that right side. It's Louis Kerr is obviously disqualified from the rerun, which is not the ideal start for him, but I think more importantly it's just to make sure that his fitness is okay, because he is surrounded by his teammates and the team manager there. So yeah, we'll wait patiently now for the referee to give time for Louis Kerr to actually gather himself, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if he has given himself a real good knockabout. He's a tough character, Louis, so for him to be just taking his time here, yeah, right wrist, forearm area. So good to see him on his feet, making his way back towards the pits, but I would suggest that he is feeling that. So, yep, Louis Kerr making his way back. Frustrating start to the evening for the number 2 rider for. They just got himself tied up there a little bit and got tailed off, and now the back tyre just a little bit greasy there. Just lets go now, almost going backwards there in reverse, but lands heavily on his right side. Firm track, of course. They watered very late because we did have some showers through the afternoon, but I would suggest there is concern there about Louis Kerr and whether he can continue. We'll give you that information when we get it, which way it's going to go. So while we have this short delay, we'll get some take this moment now to pop down to Abby.
Yeah, I am chasing Simon Stead around. He's running, obviously making some big decisions. Let's see if we can just grab him. Steady, I know this is an important moment, but out there with Louis Kerr, it looked a really awkward landing. Is he okay?
Yeah, just hurt his shoulder, so we're just waiting for him to get assessed now, so fingers crossed.
Not an ideal time, Heat 1, no. And he's been so good for you this season.
Yeah, he's been great, but accidents happen. You know, I can see him getting looked at now, so thoughts with him, just fingers crossed, that's all we can do.
Steady, thank you as always.
Thanks,
Okay, riders now making their way back up to the tapes for heat number 1, a restart, of course, and Holder made a fabulous start from the outside there in the original start. He'll be hoping to be able to do something. I've got concerns there. That does not look good. And, there's no doubt that Louis Kerr is feeling that. It was an awkward moment for him. So Sayfutdinov just making his way to the starts now. And as I say, it will be just the 3 of them going head to head. So numerically, advantage to the visitors here. So heat number 1, the restart is Keynan on the inside in yellow. No rider in gate number 2. Emil Sayfutdinov out of gate number 3 in white. And off the outside is Jack Holder in the red helmet colour. And all the pressure on Holder here. Needs to reproduce the sort of start he did in the first stagings of heat number 1, where he absolutely rocketed away from gate number 4. Here we go then. Second time of asking, tapes are up and we're underway. Once again, Holder just about getting the better of Keynan. Emil Sayfutdinov back in third, and Jack Holder there being able to keep his composure, kept himself calm. Didn't get away quite as well as he did in the initial stages of the race, but he's pulling away out in front now. Looking like it's going to be a shared heat now, but Jack Holder doing the business for the home team. Louis Kerr out of it, injured. But for Jack Holder, who has been really impressive round the Owlerton track of late, really picking up some huge scores. Keynan going very well in second place, certainly chasing down his compatriot out front, with Emil Sayfutdinov back in third. As I say, this will be a shared heat with 3 points scored for both teams. Into the last lap now. Jack Holder comfortable out in front, looking very accomplished indeed. Down the back straight for the last time, just gently easing away from Keynan. And this is just what they needed there. That's the best they could do. And the top man from the Sheffield Tigers comes through in flying colours there with a very accomplished ride out in front. And Keynan back in second place. But for Jack Holder, does the job for his team there under big pressure. And did it very nicely indeed out in front. So 3 points all after the first race. The result then of heat number 1 is Jack Holder, nice out in front, 3 points for him. Keynan back in second place, 2 points, and Emil Sayfutdinov picking up the third place. And Scotty, really, in the end, in the restart, a fairly comfortable ride there for Jack Holder out in front.
Yeah, it was. He took advantage of that gate 4. There's a few ruts. I had a look at the track earlier, like you did, Kelvin, and there was some decent grip out there. Gate 3, to be fair, could be a bit of a graveyard here, but Emil kind of didn't make too bad a jump from, but his teammate there is in the way, and early doors it's always difficult to move off that racing line. But we can see here again Jack Holder, not an awful lot of grip there. You can tell by his body language, sitting very upright, but just squeezes across Keynan there and gets a good start there. Just so unfortunate that his teammate Louis Kerr crashed out early doors, and hopefully he can be all right. But Jack Holder there looking silky smooth. We've got a great record here at Sheffield, and hopefully track conditions will continue to improve as the night goes on.
Absolutely right, and I do think they will, Scott. I think they will, because as I sense there is some loose material on the top, but I do believe that will really generate some grip as the evening continues. So we are on board. I do believe we're on board with Carl Howarth tonight, and that could be quite exciting, because Carl certainly puts it about out there, and he's a hard charger. So heat 2 is with us. We've got Carl there just doing some gardening on the start. They dig around on the start line, trying to find the right place to start from. So crucial starting in Speedway. Get away well, makes life an awful lot easier. Get your nose in front. So he'll be hoping to get away sharply. We are hearing now that Louis Kerr has been withdrawn from the meeting, which is a big blow for the home team. So they will be using the rider replacement facility for him. So we wish a speedy return for Louis Kerr, but quite clearly that heavy fall just proving too much for him. So a blow to the home team. So heat number 2. Line up then for heat number 2 is Carl Howarth, the captain of the Sheffield Tigers. Will go from the inside in the red helmet colour. Danyon Hume for the Ipswich Witches will come out of gate number 2 in white. Danyon Gilkes, the rising star for the home team, out of gate number 3 in blue, and Dan Thompson, the rising star for the visitors, will go from the outside in yellow. And Dan, his twin, was actually riding at the rising star number 7 for the Witches, but they've switched, and Dan is now with the Witches, settling down for heat number 2, 3 points apiece. They go charging into the first corner, and it's Howarth that shows initially. Danyon Hume there in second place, hustling round through, coming into second place down the back straight. Thompson there, just being out-battled by Gilkes as they turn into turns 3 and 4 on the opening lap. Now Howarth out in front, Hume giving chase, back in second place. Certainly Howarth just finding conditions. It's just a little greasy out there, possibly slicker than they're normally accustomed to, but Howarth settling down nicely. Got a smart start off the inside. I've got to say, Gilkes is coming on strong in third place. Keep your eyes on him. He certainly isn't out of it, with Danyon Hume in second place. Under threat now by Gilkes, because Gilkes is finding some speed. Into the last lap.
Howarth is comfortable out in front. Hume holding firm in second place, needs to, because Gilkes has ridden strongly in third place. And Thompson is looking like he's pulling up at the back. But for Carl Howarth, out of the last turn, the perfect start for him, for the captain of the Sheffield Tigers. And Danyon Hume coming through in second place. But the important point there from Gilkes, and that gives the home team the slight advantage there with a 4-2. So they move on to 7 points. But Carl Howarth, an encouraging ride from him, no question about that. And he'll be pleased with that. Took advantage of the inside gate and was able to get his nose in front right from the get-go. So the result of heat number 2 then, Carl Howarth out in front, 3 points for him. Danyon Hume back in second place, 2 points. Dan Gilkes, a strong ride from him, 1 point for him. And Dan Thompson missing out with some mechanical issues later on in the race. But Scotty, Carl Howarth made no mistake getting out of that inside gate.
No, he certainly didn't, Kelby. He took full advantage of that. And I was talking to Carl before the meeting, actually said gates 1 and 4 are normally pretty productive here. So it'll be interesting to see how gates 2 and 3 come later on in the meeting. But Carl Howarth, he knows this track very well. And to be fair, he's better than the reserve berth he's sitting in right now. And that could be a real trump card for the Sheffield Tigers. Here we are on board with Carl, just having a good look. You see that trigger release on the inside there, quick reactions, just see that left hand just hovering over that clutch lever. But you can see down low just how wet it is, Kelvin, inside. Like we said earlier, the track will come good, no doubt.
Yeah, it is a little bit greasy, Scotty, and I just sense that with that loose material on there, will they have had to make some changes to set up, particularly the homeboys?
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting point, Kelvin. I think some of that home track advantage may have slipped away a little bit, but see if the Tigers can turn that around. They've got a 12-point deficit to pull back.
They have indeed. Well, it's just 10 now. Obviously, they've got a 2-point lead, but certainly they'll be battling very hard to pick up all the 3 points if they can. So heat number 3, riders approaching tapes now, and we're having a good look at Adam Ellis there on the outside. And the first time we will see Josh Pickering out here as well in heat number 3. Adam Ellis is a rider that's it's been up and down this year, but when he's on, he's very eye-catching indeed and can be super quick. Heat number 3 then, on the inside is Danny King, the captain of the Ipswich Witches, of the white helmet colour. Josh Pickering out of gate number 2 in blue. Gate number 3 in yellow is Erik, and off the outside is Adam Ellis in the red helmet colour. This is the engine room of both teams, hugely important. Certainly Danny King, if he can have a big night, that will help out big time for the Ipswich Witches. Certainly if he can back up Emil Sayfutdinov and Jason Doyle, then who knows. But the Witches very keen to do well here. Outside the top 4, many people's pick to go all the way this year, the Ipswich Witches. Certainly with the eye-catching signing of Emil Sayfutdinov, but it has been a little bit hit and miss at times, so under pressure. But for both teams, it's a crucial stage of the season. League points vital right now. Adam Ellis looking to try and reproduce something similar to what Jack Holder did in heat number 1. Oh, bit of movement there from Pickering on gate number 2, but look at that. Danny King's made a superstar, but Ellis round the outside, super smooth, hits the front down the back straight. Can King now respond? Charging up the inside, putting a lot of pressure on Adam Ellis, but has to put a big locker there. As a consequence, King then came under a lot of pressure from Josh Pickering back in 3rd. But Adam Ellis now beginning to settle down with Erik at the back, but Adam Ellis now with that super move early doors round turns 1 and 2 is beginning to really power away out in front. Dirt line is beginning to move out a little wider. Certainly the track conditions are a touch greasy, but look at Ellis go. He is generating a lot of speed, certainly riding a touch wider than everybody else so far this evening. It appears to be working, and it's working very well. He's half the length of the straight in front as he enters turns 3 and 4 for the last time. Smashing ride from Ellis. That's an encouraging performance from him. King was there early on after a sharp start initially, but he had no answers to Ellis once they settled down, and Pickering picking up 3rd place, so 2 consecutive 4-2s for the home team. And they'll be pleased with that, that's for sure. And Simon Stead will be delighted to see Adam Ellis in such fine form right from his opening race there. So good stuff from the British rider that was France. So let's get down to Scottish straight away. We'll get the result first for you. Let's get Adam Ellis out in front, 3 points. Danny King back in second place, 2. Josh King back in third place, 1 for him, and Erik misses out. But we'll get some more reaction about track conditions because Scotty's made his way out there.
Yeah, thanks, Kelv. You're just talking in that race there how Adam Ellis is starting to use this dirt line on the outside, and it really is starting to build up here. You can see the difference in the colour. The dirt line, I'm going to have a little grab like I like to do. It's got some good moisture, and like you said, it's possibly a tad greasy, but I really think that is going to come good. But what I want to look at is actually more of the entrance into the turn, because you see Danny King try to dive up the inside of Adam Ellis there. There's a few little snaggly bits. If my cameraman just pans out here, I need to go to the gym, I'm getting worn out. I'll run back here. You can just see these dark shades here. And where they've had the rain and they put that water on, it will start to get a little bit greasy, Kelv. And you know this corner, this track is shaped like a D. So this corner, as you come into here, you're pretty much turning the whole time, Kelv, which can be a pretty daunting corner, this one.
It can be indeed. You've got to carry lots of speed, and if it's a little, we saw it with Louis Kerr, didn't we, where the back tyre just let go. So you know, obviously you've got to trust the bike down there. But nonetheless, track conditions slightly different from what the home team normally encounter. We have got a change here with the Sheffield Tigers. Simon Stead, the team manager, just switching his reserves around. I believe Howarth is coming in here for Dan Gilkes. Yeah, we are seeing Carl Howarth coming in for Dan Gilkes, so that we'll see how that pans out. And we'll be on board with Carl as well, who had a smashing ride in heat number 2, of course, where he won pretty comfortably. He hit the front off the inside gate. Hasn't got that this time. So, heat number 4 then is with us, and off the inside in the yellow helmet colour is Dan Thompson. Carl Howarth coming in here as a reserve switch out of gate number 2 in blue. Jason Doyle will come out of gate number 3 in white, and Tobiasz Musielak off the outside in red. 2 big hitters, of course, on the outside 2 gates. Jason Doyle possibly not in the best place right now on gate number 3, may have to produce something a bit special. But Carl Howarth, with track knowledge already, potentially, this is the reason why Simon Stead has thrown in Howarth with all the experience as well, trying to get as much out of heat number 4 as they possibly can. Tobiasz Musielak on his night, he can be absolutely red hot, really can carry a lot of speed. So another tasty looking race here in heat number 4. 11 points to 7 to the home team. Here we go, we're underway. Certainly Jason Doyle has been out battled there. Here comes certainly around the outside Tobiasz Musielak and Carl Howarth. It's worked a treat. They've hit the front there, and a massive 5-1 on the cards here. Certainly gate 3 did not work at all for Jason Doyle, but no drive at all, spun up badly. Musielak out in front, Carl Howarth coming in as a reserve switch. They're hanging on in second place now. Doyle will be really fuming there, will be frustrated by not getting away as well as he would have liked. And he'll be charging hard in third place. But right now, the Sheffield Tigers are taking it to the witches. But look, Doyle beginning to wind it on in third, pushing harder and harder, winding it on round the outside. Here he comes. Oh, he's got squeezed up there. Had to just come out of the throttle momentarily. What a ride from the former world champion. He's done him. What a superb effort there from Doyle to squeeze round the outside of Howarth. Certainly Musielak has won at a canter, but Doyle had to work hard there, really had to dig in. And the ride of the night so far from the former champion, Jason Doyle. But Tobiasz Musielak getting away nicely, had a comfortable ride out in front. All the action going on behind the Polish rider there, with Carl Howarth and Jason Doyle. Doyle really had to put the hammer down. Musielak out in front, 3 points for him. Good ride from Doyle there, hard-earned 2 points for him. Carl Howarth then slipping back to third place, 1 point, and Dan Thompson missing out in heat number 4. I do hope that you've got back to your position, Scotty, because that was a terrific ride from Doyley there. Yeah, take a deep breath.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, but Doyley there just showing that tenacity that he's renowned for.
Oh, he did. I mean, Doyley never gives up, and he obviously took advantage of that dirt line you'd spoken about, Kelvin. It has started to build up now. The moisture started to come, but gate 3, we called it at the beginning of the show, can be a graveyard here, and And Doyle is a fantastic gator, but he got out-gated there by Musielak, and a smart move up the inside there from Kyle Howarth, showing all his home track knowledge. And at this point, the Tigers are on a 5-1 and closing that lead down. But Doyle, right here, is dead and buried. But like you said, he's got a lot of tenacity, Kelv. He didn't give up, and he kept plugging away, and it was a brave move going outside of Howarth there.
It was indeed, and I'll tell you what, it was brave, because Howarth is no fool, is he? He knows this place like the back of his hand, so really did have to dig in there.
Yeah, he certainly did, and we see the onboard there. There wasn't a lot of room. Look at that, he squeezes through, and you're carrying an awful lot of speed down that back straight, going into that pit turn, as we did that little track piece on earlier, Kelv. So fantastic race from Jason Doyle there. Needed to pull something back, but the Witches getting back in there. Down to you, Abby.
And I'm going to go just try and get down with Jason. Jason, we know you're such a hard charger. What a move on Kyle Howarth. Not much space there.
Nah, not at all, but Kyle knows his way around here. Very hard to get off gate free, as we just seen, but yeah, we'll work for getting off the starts and make it a little bit easier.
Such a crucial meeting for the Witches. Obviously, they're now without Louis Kerr as well. Motivation within the camp has got to be so high to get that win.
Yeah, firstly, all the best to Louis. Hopefully he's not as bad as what we first think, but yeah, we need to get this win away so we can get back in the playoffs.
Jason, thank you so much. Let's head now to Mama Green and to Davo.
Well, competitive stuff so far. 2 of the top 3 in the Sports Insure Premiership, and a competitive first bend here in Heat 1 with Sam Masters in red taking the lead for Wolverhampton, Norwich Dawn, and Dan Bewley for the Bellevue Aces, squeezing out Steve Worrell, who was out of shape on the first couple of bends. There was some pre-meeting rain, but the track has been improving as the meeting has gone on. 3 pace in the opening race, but drama on the first bend in Heat 2 with the rider in blue, Leon Flint, getting a shove there from Tom Brennan going down, but Leon Flint perfectly okay, able to walk in and take his place in the rerun with all 4 invited back. And there was plenty of drama in the rerun as well. The rider in yellow is Connor Bailey, the new rising star signing for the Bellevue Aces. Almost makes the start over Zach Cook as Leon Flint in blue goes through into 3rd place over Tom Brennan, but good battling now at the end of the first lap. Zach Cook has scored a 15-point maximum in his last home meeting, stretching clear out in front. Bailey in 2nd place, now coming under increasing pressure from Leon Flint in blue, with Tom Brennan also in the equation up on the top turn. And keep watching out for Connor Bailey in 2nd place in the yellow helmet colour, because watch him now off turn 2, just overlocks and gets it wrong and goes down, and that allows Wolverhampton to go through for the first 5-1 of the evening. Connor Bailey okay, able to walk in, but Zach Cook and Leon Flint with the 5-1. Here's the start of Heat 3, a restart in fact, because Charles Wright jumped the start in the first staging. It's Jamin Lidsey in white, who's been in tremendous form really throughout the campaign for the Bellevue Aces. He's out in front here over Sam Masters in red, taking the rider replacement ride. Ryan Douglas in 3rd, and Sam Masters in red, watch out for him here, the master of Monmore Green, but he gets it wrong on turn 2 and goes out too wide, and through on the inside comes Charles Wright in yellow for a 4-2 to the Bellevue Aces. The Bellevue captain then Brady Kurtz in good form in Heat 4. Good start by Leon Flint in blue, but Kurtz round the outside to take control over Leon Flint and Rory Schlein, and with 4 heats gone, it's Wolverhampton 13, Bellevue 11.
Dave, thank you. Well, lots of you getting in touch already on Twitter. Lots of you finding it amusing that I find the hashtag amusing. It is SheIp, so get your thoughts and opinions to us, and I'll get the questions as well, any that you have, over to Scott and to Calvin later on in the programme. What did you think of the movie, which is right behind me just a moment ago, of Jason Doyle over Kyle Howarth? We want to hear from you. But here in Sheffield, we'll take a quick pause and we'll be back with Heat 5 after this. We're joined now by Erik Riss, who rides for Ipswich Witches. And Erik, fair to say it's been a tough season for you.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare so far. Well, you know, the last 3 weeks I've been back racing finally, but the start of the season, the start went really good, and then I've only done 3 meetings, and then I had to pull out for 2.5 months.
And 2.5 months, and I mean, we've heard so much around sort of the health and the eye, but can you explain it more?
Well, the cause for it is still not found. So the doctors reckon it was caused by a viral infection. But basically what happened is the fluid that is in your spinal cord also runs in your head. And if that fluid is too much, there's high pressure in your head. So that was caused by probably a virus. And then because I've had too much pressure in the head, something called the optic nerve swell up behind my eye, which is the nerve that connects the eye to the brain. And therefore I was having blurry vision and, just didn't see properly.
Which is not what you want on a speedway bike.
No, definitely not. I tried at the beginning because at first I didn't even know what was going on. So I kept riding and I tried because momentarily, when you don't know what it is, you think, oh, it's just a bit of an illness, and you sort of think, oh, it is getting better. And then I tried to ride, but it was just not working. I couldn't concentrate and see properly.
And how are you feeling now?
I'm pretty much back to normal. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I've been back to hospital. And I've had, before I went to that hospital visit, I had 3 lumbar punctures where they release fluid from my back, which lowers the pressure in the head. And therefore, that should allow the nerves behind the eye to swell down. And like I said, I've been to hospital about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they said the swelling had gone down slightly, and it's getting better. And after that hospital visit, it kept getting better, so I'm pretty much back to normal now.
And can you ride it at full pelt with 100% commitment, or is there a slight fear, I suppose?
I don't know. I don't feel myself on the bike at the moment. I don't know why that is. I can't work it out. I don't know if it's still related to my head. But in everyday life, I feel pretty much normal again. So I don't think it's that. But when you've been off the bike for 2.5 months and everyone else has been riding, you probably do feel a bit hesitant. Yeah.
And how have the other guys been around you? I'm sure they are so glad to see you back.
Oh yeah. Especially the club, they've waited around to get me back in, so I really appreciate that. And, once I was starting to get better, I was buzzing to get back in the team because it's a good bunch of guys, being in the team with those guys is fun. And yeah, I was looking forward to be back.
And this is a must-win for the Witches tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. We need to win. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. We just got to put our heads down and try and get a win.
Erik, good to see you back, and I hope you continue to get back to full health.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you for doing so. I really appreciate that.
Sorry, who is it next? What? Hi, that's right. Don't make me second guess yourself, Phil. Say it again. Hi. Is that right? Since 1905. It's glad I'm probably. Oh, how long we passed on you, Phil? Why are you riding on what I'm under?
Welcome back to Owlerton Stadium here in Sheffield. The sun has come out. 6 points separating the two sides on the night after 4 heats and in the aggregate as well. Let's get straight on with the action. Heat 5 with Calvin.
Yes, thanks very much. You just took the words out of my mouth, Abby. The deficit has been reduced by 6 points, so the aggregate point is up for grabs, of course. The Witches had a 12-point lead coming into tonight, and a strong start by the home team sees them 6 points ahead at this early stage. But this time we've got Sayfutdinov going from a preferred gate. Gate number 4 has been successful so far this evening. And I would like certainly Richie Hawkins, the team manager for the Ipswich Witches, will be looking for his number 1 man to get back to winning ways here, because it's a hugely important night for them. Number 5 then on the inside is Ellis, an impressive winner first time out in the red helmet colour. Gate number 2 in yellow is Keynan. Gate number 3 in blue is Josh Pickering, and off the outside is Emil Sayfutdinov in white. Could be quite a tussle here. Ellis looked mightily quick in his first ride, and he's got a good gate there on the inside, but we have seen riders being able to make a move in the first corner to swoop round the outside. Emil Sayfutdinov has been in fabulous form He obviously had to sit out last year, but he's back riding in the Extraliga in Poland, where he was riding yesterday. He's flown back into the country to ride for the Witches this evening, and he has done a fabulous job for his new team this year. Looks very comfortable and very happy, and really enjoying his racing here in the UK. Great to see. So yeah, important times now for the visitors. They've slipped 6 points behind, can ill afford to see that lead stretch out any further. They need to battle back into it with Roux and Sayfutdinov here if at all possible. Heat number 5. Riders are ready. Green lights on. Tapes are up, and we go roaring into the first corner, and it's Adam Ellis who goes straight to the outside. Sayfutdinov switching to the inside, but hasn't quite worked. Ellis there made that decision immediately to go back to the dirt. It proved to be the right decision indeed, and he's fired himself to the front. Sayfutdinov now setting away in second place, giving chase there. Keynan back in third, certainly a good effort from him, and Josh Pickering out the back. Now, can Sayfutdinov, who's been in electric form this year, do anything about Adam Ellis? He's coming up strong, diving to the inside, forces his way through. Oh, down goes Ellis, hard, really hard. Big decision there. Not sure if there was any contact, but Craig Ackroyd, the referee, will want to take a look at that again, because Ellis has gone hurtling underneath the air fence. Let's hope he's okay. Not sure. There certainly wasn't any malice in that. That was a racing incident, that's for sure. But Emil Sayfutdinov getting all sorts of speed coming out of turns 3 and 4. Got the run on Adam Ellis. He's up on his haunches, so to all intents and purposes, it looks like he's going to be okay. But a high-speed accident, that's for sure. It's a fast track here at Owlerton. Really is. It's flat out all the way. It's quite a unique track, actually. It's got a D shape to it, and you do wind it on. Let's just take a look at this again. The door was open there, comes across there, does come across him pretty hard, actually. He goes from the inside almost to the outside, and this is a great view. We've got plenty of room there, no doubt about that. The door was wide open, and Ellis actually then has to take avoiding action, but I sense there wasn't really any contact. Big decision this, huge decision, but no question early on, the door was wide open. Not sure if Scotty can hear me, but I don't know what his views on this, but this is a big decision now for Craig Ackroyd.
Can I talk to Kelv?
Yeah, Scotty, I don't know what your thoughts on there, but the door was open there for Sayfutdinov to dive up the inside.
Definitely, Kelv. I mean, I feel for that man in shot there, Adam Ellis, but it'll be interesting to see what the referee says. But the door was wide open. You can see from here, I mean, you could fit a bus through there. The issue is they come together there. There is a tiny bit of contact. You see Adam Ellis just clips the back of Emil's wheel. But for me, I think Emil has gone through a gap that was there, and as hard as it is, I think it could be tough, but I think you could see the man in red going out, Kelv.
Yeah. It's not an easy decision, but a slight bit of contact there, and Sayfutdinov has come wide. Could go either way, this one. Yep, Adam Ellis has been excluded, so there'll be a rerun with 3 riders here. Adam Ellis is going to feel aggrieved, and certainly Simon Stead may have words with the referee, but the referee won't be for turning, that's for sure. Tough one that, really was, but possibly if he could do it again, he may just cover that inside line a little more. Sayfutdinov, one of the nicest guys in the pits, will not have felt, not too much animosity, just a sense of frustration there, I think, for Adam Ellis. But he's out of the rerun, so this is now an opportunity for the Ipswich Witches to now bounce back and close in on the home team. 6 points down, and with Keynan and Emil Sayfutdinov, they'll be looking for the opportunity to now get a heat advantage, which they haven't managed to do so far this evening. They've had a 3-all in Heat 1, but since then, the home team have picked up 3 consecutive 4-2s. So no doubt that while we just wait now for riders to reappear for the restaging of Heat number 5, there's no doubt that the crowd, certainly the home crowd, will be not impressed with the referee's decision there, with Adam Ellis out in front. But I think that
the problem there for Adam was that there was a big gap on the inside. 2 minutes is on now, the 2 minutes warning. That means that the riders have got 2 minutes to get themselves to the tapes. It is a touch greasy out there. Shame for Ellis, who looked mightily impressive in heat number 3, where he won at a canter, but he won't be out on track this time. Sayfutdinov getting back on his bike. Must have had his heart in his mouth. It could have gone either way, but this time it's gone in favour of the visitors. So here we go now. Clock ticking down, and all the pressure for the home team will be on Josh Pickering, who hasn't started that well tonight. Has just picked up 1 point. So Pickering, who mentioned in his interview with Abby earlier on, prior to the meeting starting, saying that he hasn't raced Emil Sayfutdinov. He was hoping he was going to show a clean pair of heels to Sayfutdinov, but going to have to produce something pretty spectacular this time. Heat number 5 then, the lineup. No rider on the inside. Keynan will come out of gate number 2 in yellow. Josh Pickering out of gate number 3 in blue, and Emil Sayfutdinov out the outside in white. As I say, this is an opportunity for the visitors to try and close in. 5-1 here really will turn their fortunes around. Frustration written all over the face of Simon Stead there. Understandable, but referee in a difficult situation had to make a call. Saw it that Adam Ellis had just left the door wide open for Sayfutdinov to squeeze his way through. Here we go then. Second time of asking for heat number 5, and we're underway. They go roaring into the first corner. 3 abreast there, but it's the Witches that show. Keynan there, round the inside. Sayfutdinov down the back straight. Look at Pickering coming on, trying to force his way round the outside of Keynan now. He's going to get there, I think. Will he get there? No, not quite. Rue's now going to have to try and move out. He does. Pickering now trying to square the corner off, making a big, long straight down the back straight. Doesn't prove to be fruitful. Sayfutdinov has made no mistake. He's out in front, powering on. All the pressure on Rue in second place, with Pickering trying to make his way through into second place. But this could be a huge moment in the context of the evening. Numerically had an advantage, the Ipswich Witches, and they are making it really work now into the last lap. Emil Sayfutdinov looking majestic out in front, comfortable into the last turn, powering on. And this is just what they needed, the Witches, and they bounce back with a huge 5-1 in heat number 5. First heat advantage for the Witches this evening, and maximum score for them. Sayfutdinov made no mistake and got away nicely. It was 3 abreast. It was tight going in the first corner, but it was the Witches that showed. And after a bit of pressure from Pickering, Rue hang on for second place. So the result of heat number 5, Sayfutdinov out in front, 3 points. Keynan Rue in second place, 2 points for him, and Josh Pickering picking up the 1 point in third place. Good race though, that, Scotty. The Ipswich Witches will be delighted with that, and they close in on the home team to 2 points.
Yeah, big 5-1 needed there for the Witches, and Emil makes it off gate 4, but to be fair, gate 4 looks like it's starting to come off a little bit now, because Josh Pickering had to really get off the gas there, but he was almost there, and I think that could play into the Sheffield Tigers' hands later on with that gate choice, because gate 3 may well come better later on. But Emil Kelv out front, just so smooth, and just started to stretch away. Pickering here trying, but nothing there, Kelv. 5-1 for the Witches.
It was indeed, and as hard as Pickering tried, that lack of grip, slightly slicker, marbly sort of effect on the circuit tonight. There's no doubt he just couldn't quite find the speed required to get the better of Keynan Rue. So 16 points to 14, much healthier scoreline for the visitors. Touch of pressure on the home team now, who will want to win tonight. The aggregate point score now looking a little unlikely, but nonetheless a competitive night of Speedway, that's for sure. Premiership Speedway. So Louis Kerr was meant to be out here, but we are hearing that Dan Gilkes will come in, the rising star for the home team, to replace him. This is a reserve ride here for him. We'll see how he gets on in heat number 6. Jack Holder also out here. 2 big Australians, 2nd and 3rd in the world here, going head to head in heat number 6.
Line up for heat number 6 then. Jason Doyle off the inside gate this time in the white helmet colour. Jack Holder alongside him in red. Danyon Hume out of gate number 3 in yellow. And Dan Gilkes will go off the outside in the blue helmet colour. Can the Witches keep the momentum going now? Certainly Jason Doyle didn't enjoy gate number 3. Had to work very hard for his second place, in his first ride to get the better of Carl Howarth. 2 attempts for Jack Holder, but heat number 1 belonged to him quite comfortably. Interesting times with the 2 big Aussies going head-to-head here. Could be quite an exciting tussle, no question about that, with them lining up next to each other on the start line as well. So, settling down nicely. Start Marshall's happy, he moves away. Big racing prospect takes up sharpish there. Doyle's made a blinder off the inside. He fires himself to the front. Holder now holding the outside line. Now switches to the inside, trying to force his way through the inside into turns 3 and 4. But Jason Doyle right up high and wide. Really did make that work for him. That inside gate worked a treat for Doyle. He's out in front. Holder giving chase. Certainly not out of it at all. Back in third place is Danyon Hume. So looking good for the Witches with a heat advantage here with Dan Gilkes out the back. Doyle winding it on. He's going to have to as well because Holder's there. Certainly that's more like it from Doyle. He's pulled away out in front this time. This is an encouraging couple of races here for the Ipswich Witches, who are so much in need of the points. Are in 5th place in the league. Doyle working hard there. Holder coming on strong. Oh, look at the battle at the back. Certainly now that's all changed there with Dan Gilkes coming through. Oh, good race there at the front as well. 2 racing 1 there. And I do believe that Danyon Hume just hung on there with a terrific battle for 3rd and 4th and a smashing race out in front as well. But Doyle and Holder there putting on a great demonstration of top-class speedway in heat number 6, that's for sure. With Jason Doyle actually just coming under a lot of pressure there. Looked like he had it quite comfortably there midway through the race, but fair play to Holder. He came on strong the longer the race went on. So the result then of heat number 6 is Jason Doyle out in front, 3 points for him. Holder back in 2nd place, 2 points. Hume did hang on there for 3rd place, and Dan Gilkes missing out there coming in for Louis Kerr. 18 points all square, Scotty. This meeting really has come alive in the last couple of races.
Certainly has, Kel. Fair play to the Witches. I mean, Jason Doyle took full advantage of that inside gate, working a treat, and to be fair, it looked like it was a drag race, and he'd won that, and he was checking out from Jack Holder, but Jack Holder pulled some different moves on the last laps and started to pull in on Jason Doyle. The interesting point I want to ask you, Kelv, is these boys are lining up against each other in the World Championship. How much do you think that's in their head, and is there bragging rights? Right now, Jack Holder does not want Jason Doyle to beat him.
I agree entirely. There's a Grand Prix coming up this weekend. There's an immense amount of rivalry, of course. They like each other, they're mates, but when they're out on track, no quarter is given. Good speedway race here, and there was a good battle for 3rd and 4th as well.
It certainly was. I mean, for me, look at it's like almost half a straight inner, but Jack Holder, look at that, up the inside, but the battle was at the back as well for the Witches. A much needed win for Jason Doyle there, but Danyon Hume just goes to tell you that the race is over 4 laps and he didn't give in, got that point, 4-2 to the Witches and levelled it up, Kelv.
Yeah, and it's been a good response. Obviously, you've got to feel for Louis Kerr, but there's no doubt that the Ipswich Witches, with the opportunity in heat number 5, they took full advantage, and they're showing plenty of determination.
They certainly are, Kelvin, and you'd point out earlier, Danny King, he's had a bit of a tough season. He's a man in shot right now, and he's in that engine room, as you say, for the Witches, and he's going to need a result in this one here, Kelv.
Indeed he is. So heat number 7 is with us, and the riders are up at Tabes. Interesting night of speedway ahead, that's for sure. Looked like it was going plain sailing for the home team in the first 4 races, but credit to the Witches. They battled back well in the last couple of races. Heat number 7 then is Tobiasz Musielak off the inside gate in the red helmet colour. Danny King off of gate number 2 in white. Carl Howarth for his 3rd ride tonight comes out of gate number 3 in blue. And Erik off the outside in yellow. Erik has had a tough time. He really had. His health has been an issue, and he's just battling his way back to form. Not easy when you've missed so much racing, that's for sure. But they'll be looking to him here once again, the Witches. But won't be easy with Tobiasz Musielak and Carl Howarth. Certainly they will be
up for the challenge here this evening. 18 points apiece, nothing to choose between the two teams. And racing improving, track improving. Certainly looking fairly happy in there, but behind that smile, I suggest there is a little concern. The Leicester Lions came here recently and were able to turn over the Sheffield Tigers, so their unbeaten record has been spoilt by that. They won't want to lose again tonight, that's for sure. We're on board with Howarth as well here in heat number 7. Tapes up now and away we go into the first corner. Musielak there goes from the inside to the outside, but look at King. King trying to find some extra grip around the inside. Good effort from Danny King, not quite managing to get there, with Musielak just about getting his nose in front of the end of the back straight. Into third place is Carl Howarth and an Erik at the back, but Musielak and Danny King having a real good go out the front, pulling away now, with Carl Howarth just beginning to be tailed off in third place. Should be a good race out in front. Musielak pushing on out in front. Good response here from the home team. Howarth now needs to hang on to third place as well. Tobiasz Musielak beginning to just stretch his legs out in front. Danny King winding it on in second place, as he always does. We're into the last lap. Good ride here from Musielak out in front. Danny King certainly on the pace in second place, and Howarth, that's a handy point for them, for the home team. Out of the last corner, Tobiasz Musielak, 2 rides, 2 wins, having a great night so far this evening. Really enjoying himself. Danny King with a couple of second places tonight, and Erik finding form. Tough to recapture at this stage of the season, but certainly for Tobiasz Musielak, and a 4-2 to the home team, and they just get their noses in front once again. 22 points to 20 after heat number 7 then. Result is Musielak out in front, 3 points for him. Danny King in second place, 2 points. Carl Howarth back in third place, 1 point for him. And Erik failing to score in heat number 7. But good first corner there from Danny King. Just for a moment, Scott, I thought he might have been able to get himself to the front.
Yeah, almost. Musielak, you see, has a good look there, see if his teammate's there. He's not. Musielak swoops that dirt. Almost a mistake, like you said, Kelv. A smart first turn from Danny, almost gets him. And the dirt line now, Kelv, has gone really, really wide. You can see Musielak has got his back wheel right in it, and that can really invite the rider to dive up the inside, just like what Emil did to Adam Ellis a couple of races ago. But we'll have a track grade now. Hopefully that'll pull that dirt back down. But see, they're on board with Carl Howarth. That gate 3 really is a graveyard. You wouldn't want to be off that, Kelv.
No, not at all. You just see when they drop the clutch, it's just no drive at all. It's just total wheel spin. So you want to try and get that out of the way. What would you do if you were on gate number 3? Would you make any specific setups just to try and get the bike to jump forward?
Well, it's an interesting thing, Kelv, because you can only make one change. We don't have a gearbox, so if you want to do something to react off the start, probably the obvious thing for me would be to try and shorten the bike up, but then it can make it a little bit tricky on track. So interestingly, the Sheffield boys all seem to be running their bike a little bit shorter, which creates more grip, but we'll see how the night pans out. Abby, what you got for us?
Well, Scott, I've just got to say we're tightly poised in this meeting. We're halfway stage of the night, and just 2 points are separating the two sides. What do you think of all the action so far? The Tigers have had, well, they've been down a big blow, losing Louis Kerr early on, and then Adam Ellis was excluded in Heat 5. You don't want to miss any of this action. We'll be back with Heat 8 after this. After 7 heats in Sheffield, is 22-20 to the home side. Before we continue with the action at Owlerton, just a reminder of all the other sport that's coming up across the platforms, including cycling, Tour de France, obviously. Stage 10, Eurosport 1, and that starts again tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Formula E, it's a double header, so round 13, the first of those 2 races, will be in Rome, and it's on Discovery Plus Live at Saturday at 9:30. The Climbing World Cup from Briançon is Eurosport 1 on Saturday at 7:30, and Wimbledon. Got the finals, coverage starts at 1:30 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday for the men's and the ladies, and daily highlights is at 10 o'clock on Eurosport 2. Let's head over now to Monmouth Green and get the latest there from Dave Rowe.
Well, this always looked a close meeting on paper. That's how it's turned out. 13 points to 11 to Wolves after 4 races. Heat number 5, the rider in white, Dan Bewley, storming around the outside to get the better of Ryan Douglas and the rider replacement ride, Steve Worrell. Bellevue, who went close to an away win at this venue in May, are certainly keeping themselves in touch with Bewley on the winning track there in Heat 5. Heat 6, and Brady Kirk, the rider in white, giving Sam Masters in red a shove. Steve Worrell taking his programme ride and making it through, but Sam Masters forced into a battle with Tom Brennan for 3rd place, trying to protect a 4-2 to the home side. Worrell impressively out in front for Wolverhampton, has been a real strong number 2 rider for them as the season has continued, and Worrell leading that one from Brady Kurtz, but battle on for 3rd place. Tom Brennan having a real go at Sam Masters, and Masters having to use plenty of track craft on the last lap to hold him at bay. Wolverhampton there taking a 4-2 to go 4 points in front after 6 races. But look at this in Heat 7 from Bellevue. Jamin Lidsey in white getting above, Rory Schlein in red into bend 1. Round the outside goes Charles Wright in yellow, and there's no way through there for either Rory Schlein or Zach Cook. Bellevue striking right back with a big 5-1 in Heat 7, making it 21 apiece, and more impressive stuff from Jamin Lidsey in that race to win it clearly, with Charles Wright in second over Rory Schlein. Heat 8 saw Steve Worrell in red once again in fast skating form, this time out starting Norwick Bladorn and trying to turn back in the white helmet colour, but Worrell taking control on the back straight for the first lap. Leon Flint in 3rd place over Connor Bailey, and Wolverhampton's Steve Worrell taking his 2nd successive victory in that race. So a really tight contest, with Bellevue getting themselves back level after Heat 7, but Wolves edging back in front in Heat 8. Worrell's victory over Bladorn and Flint, and it's Wolves 25, Bellevue 23.
Dave, thank you so much. Now, the boys in commentary have been talking about how hard it is from Gate 3. Scott's there now, without a bike, obviously, Scott. And why is it so difficult, Scotty?
Well, I'm going to have a quick look here. Just the ruts are not very deep, and it's just all this like loose material. You can see me kicking it around. It really doesn't pack in very well. So you're down to the base, which is going to be really slick and hard. Whereas if I come out to Gate 4, look at all this prime material, all this soft stuff they can pull. I'm doing someone off Gate 4 a favour here, by the way, but they can pack all that in so they can get a real good jump. The only problem that the boys off Gate 4 will have a little bit is once they get to here, you're kind of on the racing line. That's why you see a few of the boys that are then struggling and really getting a bit gapped up and bunched up in the beginning in the first turn. But, yeah, I wouldn't worry off Gate 3. Over to you, Cal.
Yeah, thanks very much, Scott. Yeah, it's certainly pretty loose out there, and I think that was as a consequence of the forecast. Certainly yesterday the forecast was for torrential rain all afternoon. That didn't transpire. We did get a shower for about 40 minutes, but they have resisted to really water the track heavily, which was the right call, but it's just a little bit loose on top. And we've got a glorious evening now, so amazing. We've almost had 3 seasons in a day here up in Sheffield. But it is July. July has returned for the evening, which is good news. So we have a change here with Carl Howarth coming in here for the injured Louis Kerr. Midway point of the meeting, of course. There's just 2 points in it, so everything to race for here tonight. And it's entertaining night at Speedway. Sheffield boys just having a bit of a chit-chat in the pit area. So here we go then for heat number 8. Heat number 8 then is Dan Gilkes off the inside in the blue helmet colour. Dan Thompson off the gate number 2 in yellow. Gate number 3 in red is Carl Howarth. There's a reserve switch here. And then Keynan Rue going off the outside in white. Excuse me, it's not a reserve switch. He's a reserve ride for the injured Louis Kerr.
So Howarth has been a busy boy. He's already had 3 outings and he's scored 5 points so far, so doing a good job. We're on board with him as well. Keynan may well be his main contender this time off the outside gate, and Keynan going along very nicely tonight, having scored 4, paid 5 so far, so doing a good job for his team. 10th night at Speedway, back to the racing now, midway point of the night. Which way is it going to go? Tapes up now, and we go charging into the first corner, and it's a good start on the inside there, certainly for the Sheffield pair, and Howarth coming through into second place. Dan Gilkes having a smashing ride out in front, terrific stuff from him, and Howarth in second place. Here comes Dan Thompson having a go in third place, and Keynan, that's a bit of a shock there, he's out the back. There's no doubt about this with the rising star there. Dan Gilkes actually having a storming ride out in front. Just what the doctor ordered for the home team. 5-1 on the cards, but certainly Dan Thompson is not out of it. But that was a classy move there from Howarth. Howarth then ran a little lower in turns 1 and 2 and has just stretched his legs a little bit. They've got a bit of breathing space between themselves and the Witches back in 3rd and 4th. Certainly into the last lap now, and this is a great response for the home team in heat number 8. They're down the back straight for the last time. Terrific ride from Dan Gilkes. He'll be delighted with this. Good start, backed up by his captain there. And the home team showing great resolve there in heat number 8, coming through with a big 5-1 when they were becoming under a lot of pressure from the Ipswich Witches, and stretched that lead out to 6 points, 27 points to 21. But a handy 5-1, so crucial in matches like this. They really can give you a little bit of a buffer, but nonetheless, a very impressive ride there from Dan Gilkes. Crowd delighted with it as well, applauding him royally as he goes around on his celebration lap. Result then of heat number 8 for you is Dan Gilkes. Good ride from him, 3 points out in front. Kyle Howarth coming through strongly in second place, 2 points. Dan Thompson back in third. And Keynan missing out for the first time this evening. So disappointing ride for Keynan. We'll see this again, Scotty, but a big move by the home team here.
Yeah, it certainly was. Carl Howarth, obviously my digging around on gate 4 did Keynan no favours at all because he missed it by a mile. But Carl Howarth just kind of made me eat my words. He made a rocket start off gate 3, and fantastic here. Dan Gilkes has a much needed win for him, and yeah, has a little look there, sees his teammates coming, and Carl Howarth kind of shepherded him round and yeah, extend that 6-point lead again. So yeah, brilliant race. Carl Howarth here on board with Kyle. He's yeah, swoops out into that dirt. You can see just how much he moved around on the bike, and you'll see his teammate coming to shot on his sec here, and yeah, big 5-1 for the boys there. Great needed result, but the Witches need to fire back. So Abby, I believe you've got some information for us.
Yeah, Scotty, thank you. And Richie, they do need to fire back, and you're making a tactical sub.
Yeah, we're going to bring Emil in here to partner Doyle. Obviously that makes us a very strong pairing, and we need to get straight back in the meeting.
Crucial meeting, and we know it, and the boys have gone really well, but just dropping some points in the last couple of heats.
Yeah, obviously that was a bad result in heat 8, so yeah, straight back in it, and let's fight for the end of the meeting. We need to come here and try and win the meeting, so that's what we're done to do.
Richie, thank you.
Well, here we go then. This is when you've got a pairing like Jason Doyle and Emil Sayfutdinov, we could potentially see them riding together 3 times this evening, which is quite impressive indeed. It's a clash again, of course, with Adam Ellis and Sayfutdinov. Be interesting to see exactly how that transpires, but interest throughout here. They've slipped 6 points behind, so you can make a tactical substitute once in the evening, and they've used their big gun here, Emil Sayfutdinov. What a man to bring in here, and he's going off gate number 4. Doyle was back to winning ways, although he came under a lot of pressure from Holder last time. So plenty riding on this. Can the Witches make it play now in heat number 9? Heat number 9 then, the lineup. Josh Pickering off the inside in blue. Alongside him in gate number 2 in white is Jason Doyle. Gate number 3 in red is Adam Ellis. And the tactical substitute off the outside in the yellow helmet colour is Emil Sayfutdinov. Crikey, that's almost a team manager's dream, isn't it, when you can bring in a rider of the quality of Emil Sayfutdinov alongside Jason Doyle. The Witches mean business tonight. They're throwing everything at it. They know how important this meeting is to them. They're in 5th place in the league. They desperately want to make the top 4. And
they're battling hard here. Can Ellis and Pickering keep them at bay? Not an easy task. Two world-class performers here coming out of gates 2 and 4 for the Witches. Here we go then. Heat number 9 tapes her up and we're away, and they go roaring into the first corner. Pickering's made a good start there on the inside. Sayfutdinov round the outside. Will he get there? Will he get there? It's tight down the back straight. Yes, he does. Just about, but Pickering is giving it everything there up the inside of Emil Sayfutdinov, who now gets his nose in front. Doyle's back in 3rd place with Adam Ellis out the back, but Pickering really making Emil Sayfutdinov work very hard for that lead on the opening lap. Now, out in front, Sayfutdinov comfortable now. Pickering, they're pretty comfortable in 2nd place. Doyle, can he do anything about it? They were looking for a 5-1 on the cards here, the Witches, but it hasn't quite worked out that way. Still, nonetheless, it's a heat advantage on the cards. We're into the last lap. Sayfutdinov, imperious out in front, going further and further away. His form, look at that down the back straight. Almost the length of the straight in front. Superb ride from him, cruising out in front. Spectacular victory for him. Strong ride in 2nd place for Pickering. And Doyle coming through in 3rd place. This man, I don't believe he's ridden any better. He really is in top form. Spectacular ride from Sayfutdinov under pressure early on from Josh Pickering. Superb ride. So heat number 9, the result is Sayfutdinov 3 points for him. Pickering back in 2nd place, 2 points. Jason Doyle picks up the 3rd place with 1 point for him, and Adam Ellis failing to score, so a 4-2, and they close into 4 points, 29 points to 25. But what a ride from Sayfutdinov here, Scott.
It certainly was, Calv. I think the Witches were, well, I know they were desperately hoping for more, but Doyle gets squeezed out in the first turn. That's a battle hard to contain Adam Ellis. But for me, Emil, Kelv, he just rides that little bit wider than everybody else, but he's so smooth. He keeps his wheels in line, and like you said during the race, he's just getting wider and wider. And the lead he has, I mean, 100% agree, Kelv. I think it's the best he's ever ridden.
Yeah, he is. He's just at one with the bike, isn't he? And he's just got the confidence just to put the bike exactly where it needs to be. And I mean, look at this. This is just, you know, this is no easy task to get round the outside. A lot of skill and determination there. But once he hits the front, he just shows so much pace out in front.
Man, like, he certainly does, Kelvin. He's not a big fella. He's quite a smart. He's a strong lad, but he's not a big fella. And Sheffield is an intimidating place to ride. So, yeah, fair play to Emil.
Yeah, terrific ride there once again. So 4 points in it, 29 points to 25. But they played their card now, the Witches. They can't do that again. So they now have to build on that. There will be a change here. I'm hearing it's Howarth coming out for another ride here. So he has been extremely busy. There he comes. Yeah, he has hardly caught his breath tonight. He's had 4 rides already. Picked up a paid win last time in heat number 8. Heat 10 then, the lineup for you is the reserve rider coming in here is Carl Howarth for the injured Louis Kerr in the inside in blue. Erik out of gate number 2 in yellow. Jack Holder off gate number 3 in red. And Danny King going from the outside in white. So pressure on here. Erik is having a tough time. Hasn't scored tonight, so he'll be looking to improve this time if at all possible. But with Jack Holder and Carl Howarth, you've got to say that the home team will be looking to try and bounce back after the 4-2 for the Witches in the previous race. It's nip and tuck. It's a roller coaster of a night, swinging one way, then the other. As I say, Howarth has already had 4 rides. Could well end up with a minimum of 6 tonight, you know, Howarth. He's got a programme ride coming up in heat number 11, of course, in the very next race. It'd be interesting to see if they switch that. But he's got to come out in heat 14 as well. So he'll sleep well tonight, that's for sure. Got that inside gate. Tough customer, Howarth. Loves his racing. And has been certainly part and parcel of the team here at Sheffield for some time now. Green light's on, tapes up, and we're away into the first corner, and it's Howarth that shows first. He charges to the outside. Holder then switching back to the inside. Smart move from him. Down the back straight, a 5-1 on the cards for the Sheffield Tigers with Howarth
away from the inside, riding very wide indeed. Danny King coming through into third place, trying to make his presence felt. Now Jack Holder going right across the front of Howarth there, didn't really do him many favours at all. And Danny King is now ready to pounce. He's riding very wide indeed. Can he follow through? We're on board with Howarth. Keep your eyes to the right. Yes, King's there. What an effort from him. And now Danny King switching to the inside. Holder having to respond. Smashing effort from Danny King. Really did work overtime there to get himself into second place, and he's right up the exhaust pipe of Jack Holder. Holder now out in front. Howarth back in third place with Erik at the back, but the entertainer there was certainly Danny King. We're into the final corner of heat number 10. Jack Holder had to work hard for that. Danny King coming through into second place, just limiting the damage there, because it looked like it was going to be a 5-1 to the home team. As it transpires, it was a 4-2, so they stretched the lead once again to 6 points. But good speedway here once again in Sheffield tonight. Result of heat number 10. Holder out in front, 3 points for him. Danny King coming through nicely to grab second place, 2 points for him. Carl Howarth back in third, 1 point. Erik his woes continue. And back in fourth place. But once again, the speedway's red hot out there, Scotty. I'm not sure that Jack Holder did Howarth many favours there midway through the race.
No, it'd be interesting to see that, Kel, because we were on board with Carl at the time. But Carl has a little look. He sees his teammates there. He goes straight to the dirt, stops the run of Erik. To be fair, it's a perfect first turn. He almost leaves himself vulnerable, but Jack Holder up the inside, and at this point it was a much needed 5-1 for the Sheffield Tigers if they want to go for that aggregate bonus point. But fair play to Danny, Kelv. He really pushed on later in the race.
He did indeed. He showed great resolve, and I must say that we know he loves the outside line, and he used it really nicely there.
Yeah, he certainly did, and he dived back to the inside here almost got the run up the inside of Jack Holder there, but Jack had obviously been watching Emil, and he knows this place inside out, and again just got wider and wider and wider. Again on board here with Carl Howarth. That was the moment where Jack Holder went across the front of him. He has a little look back, and he knows that he's not quite got it, but the man of the moment in that race for me was Danny King, and I believe Abby's got hold of him.
Sergio, the man of that heat there. What a move that you took on Carl Howarth.
Yeah, it'd be nice to make a start and get some fresh air. I'm making it hard work, but yeah, I had a good run down the back straight, and I watched Carl go in a bit narrow, so I went in deeper, ready to cut back if I had to, but I got a good run and managed to get round.
It was important, though, because it looked like it was going to be a Tigers 5-1.
Yeah, of course. We don't want to be throwing any points away like that. I mean, I know they still got the heat advantage, but we need to keep it as close as we can.
Thank you, Danny.
Cheers.
So there we go. Danny King working hard and certainly putting his best foot forward there by a crucial second place, just limiting the damage to a degree, but work to be done for the Witches, because the Sheffield Tigers have responded well here with 2 heat advantages, 2 4-2s in consecutive races in heats 9 and 10, but we're moving swiftly along now to heat number 11, where we'll see that man who's in sparkling form once again, Emil Sayfutdinov. We will have a change here, I believe. It looks like maybe Carl Howarth may be switched here, but we'll wait for confirmation of that, because he has been extremely busy. There's the main man, the man of the moment, Emil Sayfutdinov, who's going along very nicely indeed, up against Musielak here, who's unbeaten so far this evening, so another good match-up there. May well be that young Dan Gilkes is coming in here for, yes indeed, he is on the outside gate. So line up then for heat number 11 is Emil Sayfutdinov to the inside in white, Tobiasz Musielak out of gate number 2 in red, Keynan failed to score last time, he comes out of gate number 3 in yellow, and Dan Gilkes is the reserve switch here, coming in for Carl Howarth, who's been a busy boy. And Dan rode very well in heat number 8, actually, so full of confidence after that ride, that's for sure. Can they keep it going, or will it be the Witches this time responding? Certainly Emil Sayfutdinov is favoured on paper, but races aren't won there. Keynan looking to bounce back after a disappointing ride last time, after a solid start, I might add. He had only dropped 1 point from his first 2 rides to an opponent, so he's looking to get amongst the points this time out of that gate number 3. Heat number 11 then, and away we go.
And it's Emil Sayfutdinov off the inside. Certainly right round the outside. Tobiasz Musielak has elected to do that. They're down the back straight. Musielak coming on strong now. Switches to the inside. Read the move from Sayfutdinov. Will he be able to fire himself to the front? Not quite. Good racing out in front. Keynan is in there in the action as well. Coming up the inside of Tobiasz Musielak as well. With Dan Gilkes at the back. But Sayfutdinov now, once he's got his nose in front, it's going to be very difficult to peg him back. Barring any mechanical issues, Keynan now just beginning to fall away from Tobiasz Musielak in second place. Nonetheless, it's a 4-2 on the cards, another heat advantage to the Witches, closing in on the Sheffield Tigers into the last lap. Emil Sayfutdinov showing all the speed, all the composure we've seen throughout the evening, down the back straight for the last time. Musielak is going to be beaten for the first time this evening. Sayfutdinov easy out in front, classy performance from him, under pressure early on from Musielak, but once he settled down he proved just to be too strong, and Keynan back in third place. 4-2 for the Witches, so a handy heat advantage for them, hanging in there, they're hanging tough. Heat number 11 then, Sayfutdinov out in front, 3 points for him. Musielak back in second place, 2 points. Keynan in third, 1 point for him, and Dan Gilkes misses out this time, but it's that man again, Sayfutdinov. He came under pressure initially, Scotty, from Musielak, but he had all the answers again.
He seems to have the answers wherever he goes, Calv. He is the man in form right now, and just lap by lap, he just seemed to stretch that lead and get faster and faster like a wind-up clock. He's off the inside gate, which is favourable. Musielak does a fantastic job off gate 2. Musielak knows this track, straight to the dirt. He knows that he needs all the drive he can get, all the speed to get down that back straight, but Emil, he just knows how to get, once Emil gets out to that outside line, sorry, he's just, I'm repeating myself, Kel, but he's just so smooth and is able to put that bike in places that the other boys can't. He's just so at one on the bike.
Yeah, he is, and as we both agree, he's never ridden better. Musielak rides hard here, and I think if the track had a little bit more grip in it, he might have been able to get himself to the front, but got to say, this man certainly had the answers, and he's firing on all cylinders, and he's doing sterling work for the Ipswich Witches once again. While we've got a small pause, we'll make our way down to the pit area with Abby.
Calvin, thank you. Well, with 4 heats remaining, it's just 4 points in it. I've been asking you to put all your thoughts, comments and questions using the hashtag SheIps on social media, and they've been coming in, and I'm going to be asking Scott Nichols those questions over on Discovery Plus during the break. So join us over there, and we'll be back with the latter part of this meeting in Sheffield after this. This is when I have to do some multitasking, Scotty, because I'm scrolling through all your tweets. Thank you for using that hashtag SheIps. I'm going to start with this one from Glenn Barnett. Does Scotty Nichols, in his prime, give Doyle a run for his money around this track? Both great riders.
Maybe not around this place. I'd like to think I could give anyone a run for their money in my prime, but I think my prime was a few years back now.
That was very humble. Okay, Amy says, correct decision. Emil had the right to go for that big gap. You also sort of inclined that that was your thoughts as well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's tough, and I feel for Adam because there was contact, and it was a hard move from Emil, but especially around somewhere like this, when you leave such a big hole up the inside and you've got a racer like Emil, he's going to go for it. So it was the right call. I do feel for Adam, though. I would have been aggrieved if I was Adam as well, to be fair.
I am scrolling, I'm listening, it's all happening. Okay, so meanwhile, actually, the champions are giving it to Wolves. That sounds really impressive over at Monmore Green as well.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's been some fantastic meetings at Monmore. I mean, it's great that we're able to cover the two, and Dave Rowe's doing a fantastic job there. I mean, Wolverhampton's a track I always like going to, and yeah, it's nice to see some of the smaller tracks in there, but yeah, interesting stuff.
I'm still scrolling. I'm still looking at Sheeps. This is so closely poised as we're coming into this latter part. There's a comment here as well about how difficult it was for the Tigers to lose Louis Kerr in Heat 1.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, to be fair, we've done it, and you know, how these meetings are such fast pace, and we probably haven't picked up on that enough during the show, actually. You know, Louis is in fantastic form. He's a proper out-and-out battler, and to try and cover for him, it's difficult. It's a physical track here too, so the boys like Carl Howarth and the boys that are taking those rides, physically is a demanding track, so it's hard on them.
Yeah, and actually there was a comment, wasn't it, from Jason Doyle that was saying we hope he, has a speedy recovery. Jamie Lee, you're also saying that as well. Get well soon, Louis Kerr Racing. There's lots of thoughts on that because it looks so awkward. And Louis Kerr, I mean, Calvin said it. He's a tough customer, and him coming out and holding his wrist like that, it wasn't nice to see. No, it certainly wasn't. I did have a brief chat with him, and he said it was his shoulder, maybe his collarbone. Hopefully, he hasn't injured it. Obviously, he's a teammate of mine at Oxford, so 100%, Louis. Hope you're good, and it'd be great to see you Wednesday. But wish you all the best. Yeah, and from all of us as well. There's also some, acknowledgement of where other riders have been going really well, especially for Keynan here.
Yeah, Keynan it's his first proper season over here, and it's tough. He's an Australian lad. He's away from home, and I think in the Grand Prix we've covered on this a little bit more, where they're so far from home, they don't have those creature comforts, they don't have their family to rely on. So he's doing exceptionally well. And also got to say, Danny King has really stepped his game up tonight.
Scotty, thank you. I'd say that you're still in your prime.
Too kind, I'll pay you later.
Okay, let's get back on with the action and the racing here in Sheffield in just a moment's time. Welcome back to Owlerton Stadium. It is a close contest. It is a huge night of Speedway. Both of these two teams are fighting for that fourth place to make the playoff, and we've only got 4 heats remaining. But it's excitement happening over in Monmore Green as well. Here's Dave.
Yes, lots of drama here as well, with Wolverhampton 2 points in front heading into heat number 9, but the fast start by Brady Kurtz in white for Bellevue, and Tom Brennan going around the outside to turn the meeting in Bellevue's favour with maximum points over Ryan Douglas and Rory Schlein. That 5-1 making it 28-26 in Bellevue's favour, and then we get to some real action and controversy. Heat number 10, watch out for Sam Masters in red and Charles Wright in yellow. There's some contact, is there, on the first bend. Down goes Sam Masters. He is far from happy. Goes to have words with Charles Wright after he gets up. And I can tell you the rider in red, Sam Masters, disqualified by the referee as the cause of the stoppage. Sam Masters in red, Charles Wright in yellow. They have a go again, briefly, Sam Masters, before he walks away. But you can see what happens here. Watch the rider in yellow, Charles Wright, and does the back dirt deflector on Charles Wright. Does it take the front wheel of Sam Masters goes down? Well, whatever happened, Sam Masters was disqualified, and Bellevue in the restart took full advantage. Charles Wright in yellow getting above Steve Worrell. Round the outside goes Jamin Lidsey for a second successive 5-1, making it 33-27. But then we came to heat 11, and this is Dan Bewley in white being passed either side by Zach Cook in blue and Rory Schlein in red to put Wolverhampton on a 5-1 over Dan Bewley. Bewley in white chasing hard, trying to split the Wolverhampton pairing, almost gets inside Zach Cook into bend 3, then mid bend 3 and 4. Bewley collects Zach Cook, and they both go down in a really spectacular and horrible accident off turn 4. Bewley into Zach Cook, both down heavily. Can tell you the good news is they did both walk away from the incident. Really spectacular stuff. Dan Bewley disqualified. Wolverhampton awarded a 5-1 to bring the gap back down to 2 points. Extensive fence damage, repairs required, but they have both walked away. What a meeting so far. 11 races gone. It's Wolverhampton 32, Bellevue 34.
Dave, thank you. Well, drama in Wolverhampton, and will it be a dramatic close to this meeting here? I can see Carl Howarth going out again. He has been a busy rider, Kelvin. Heat 12.
Yes, he has indeed. Deep breaths for Carl Howarth. He did have a little bit of respite in heat number 11 with Dan Gilkes coming in, but nonetheless, this is his 6th outing of the evening. And Scotty was explaining this is a physically demanding track, so he's working overtime tonight. Still plenty of racing to come here, with the track grading is continuing, so there will be a short pause before heat number 12 gets underway. But when you look down at the heats to come, and you've got a huge heat 13 with, you know, Jack Holder, Musielak, Sayfutdinov and Doyle coming out there, this meeting is far from done. I would suggest that the aggregate point is the Witches. That belongs to them. But if they managed to win here tonight, they'd walk away with 3 points, and that would be a huge shot in the arm to the Ipswich Witches. As I say, could still go either way. A 4-point lead to the home team. Need to keep it going. Adam Ellis has had a tough night after looking really impressive. First time out in heat number 3, has failed to score subsequently. So he needs to get back amongst the points this time. So heat number 12 with riders approaching the tapes. And as I say, a lot of tension in the air. Pressure on the visitors in particular. But in truth, both these teams in 4th and 5th in the league, everything to race for here tonight. Heat 12, the lineup is Danyon Hume on the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Adam Ellis out of gate number 2 in the red helmet colour. Alongside him in gate number 3 in white is Danny King, and off the outside in blue is Carl Howarth. So interesting times. Danny King is going along nicely tonight. Certainly really has dug in very well indeed. He's had a couple of second places and a win tonight, so he's doing a good job. Has not been in sparkling form, particularly earlier in the season. Just found it a little bit of time to get going this year, but on the evidence of late, it's back to the old Danny. A little bit of concern there. Something wrapped round the steel shoe, getting rid of that for young Danyon Hume. Quite often the straps on the steel shoes can get snapped and then they fall off, and then it becomes very uncomfortable riding round, that's for sure. So heat number 12, riders coming forward. As I say, 35 points to the home team, 31 to the Witches. Not too much to choose between the two sides. Here we are, heat 12, and the home team show strongly here with Adam Ellis making a super start. He's responded nicely. Howarth into second place. Home team really stamping their authority on heat 12 in the first lap. No doubt about that. Danny King coming on strongly once again in third place. Is going to have to work hard to get the better of Carl Howarth in third. Danny Hume in there as well. Ellis is beginning to pull away out in front. Howarth now trying to follow his teammate through. He's a bit out of shape there. Oh, it's tight coming into turns 1 and 2. Certainly Howarth was a bit untidy there and actually slammed the door shut in front of Danny King. Now Keynan is going to find all the speed, all the momentum once again. Ellis has got this. Carl Howarth working really hard in second place. Had to, because King was showing a lot of speed there earlier on. But they're down the back straight through turns 3 and 4 for the last time. Adam Ellis was winning his second race of the night, and that's a massive 5-1 for the home team. Really has given them just a little bit of breathing space going into the last 3 heats. It's not over yet, but they move on to 40 points. 32, so an 8-point lead going with 3 races remaining. When Adam Ellis made a smashing start there, really did fly away from the tapes, and just what the doctor ordered there out of gate number 2. Crowd absolutely delighted with it, and the hard-charging, hard-working Carl Howarth back in second place. Maximum score then for the home team. Result of heat 12, crucial race for the home team. Adam Ellis out in front, 3 points. Carl Howarth back in second place, 2 points for him. Danny King in third, 1, and Danyon Hume missing out in heat number 12. Home team needed that, didn't they? Because with heat 13 coming up, Scotty, they've got just a little bit of a comfort zone.
They certainly did, and Adam Ellis did well to get off gate 2. It's not as good. He managed to slam the door shut on Danyon Hume there, and the main thing is his teammate Carl Howarth followed him through. Like you said, he had to run a little bit of a ragged lap there to stop the run of Danny King, because we've seen how quick Danny is tonight. But a huge race for the Tigers there. I mean, like I said, that aggregate bonus point is a little bit of a ways from them, but it's still a realistic possibility. You see Carl Howarth, they're getting out of shape, and Kel, we said it earlier, Sheffield is a tough track, physically demanding, and this poor lad, he's had 6 rides tonight, he's going to sleep well.
He is indeed, and it's tough on man and machine, because you've got the throttle wide open here. They really are revving very hard, the engines. Certainly Adam Ellis will be delighted with that after a couple of disappointing rides, but moving towards heat 13, it really is pressure on once again for the Ipswich Witches, no doubt about that, but a fine effort from Ellis and Howarth in heat number 12. Right, let's get some more reaction. Let's get down to Evie now.
Adam, what a great way to bounce back after some earlier disappointment from you earlier this evening.
Yeah, after the first one I was expecting a good night, but it's been a bit up and down. Good to finish on a win, just would have been nice to have a few more.
But you guys now really stretching your lead. We've only got a few heats remaining. It's your 8-point advantage.
Yeah, we need to win by 12 really. We need that bonus point to cement the spot in the playoffs, and yeah, it's going to be tough. Doyle and Emil are quick, and especially Emil, he looks really quick, and they're going to be strong in 13 and 15, so let's hope Toby and Jack can get the job done.
Adam, thank you. Let's rejoin Calvin.
Thank you, Abby. What a lineup we've got here. Heat number 13 then, Jack Holder off the inside in red. Emil Sayfutdinov in gate number 2 in white. Tobiasz Musielak out of gate number 3 in blue, and Jason Doyle off the outside in yellow. When we were at Foxhall Heath in Ipswich, when we saw these two teams go head-to-head, heat number 13 was just extraordinary. It was Speedway out of the top draw that night. Will we see it again here this evening? Massive pressure on the Witches. Certainly that 8-point deficit now. They need a 5-1 now. Keep this meeting alive, keep it going. Both teams really highly motivated tonight. Jack Holder's ridden very well indeed, only dropped a point from his first 3 outings this evening. Musielak likewise. Both the top 2 from both teams going along very nicely tonight. What a race in prospect here. Don't take your eyes off this one. Tapes up and we're away, and they go roaring into the first corner, and Sayfutdinov has made a fabulous start. Here comes Doyle around the inside. Look at the move around the outside from Musielak as well, but look at this response from the Ipswich Witches. Oh, Doyle's turned the bike very hard there, and Musielak's got around the outside. Here comes Holder now up the inside as well. Certainly he's going to have to respond now, Doyle. Has he got anything? No, he's been relegated to the back. What an opening lap at Speedway that was from the Sheffield Tigers. Doyle's not out of it though. Here he's coming on, pushing on once again. Sayfutdinov with a super start, he's away. And a 3-all will do the home team very nicely indeed, with Doyle now picked to the back. Certainly, Jason Doyle with a lap to go. Can he make any impact here at all? Going to be awfully difficult. Sayfutdinov once again showing fabulous speed, with just 1 turn to go. But it's the Sheffield Tigers packing in for 2nd and 3rd, and that's the job done there, really. They keep that 8-point lead. Moving on nicely onto 43 points, just a couple of points away from winning on the night. But they wanted the aggregate as well. What a race that was for a lap and a half there. Jason Doyle just finding himself caught on the inside in turns 3 and 4 there, and got swallowed up by Musielak and Holder. Smashing race though. Heat number 13, Sayfutdinov wins again, 3 points for him. Musielak coming through in a 2nd place, 2 points. Holder in 3rd, 1 for him. And Jason Doyle missing out in heat 13. And once again, Scotty, heat 13 with these two teams, it did not disappoint.
No, it certainly didn't, Kelvin. That man out in front, I mean, he's just on a rocket ship. He's on another planet. He fires away from gate 2 there, has a good look for his teammate. He's on the wrong shoulder, but there's nothing he can do at this point. Jason's up the inside of him, and to be fair, I don't think there was anything that Emil could have really done differently on that first turn to help Jason. And at this point, Jason's kind of a little bit of a sitting duck. He's had to scrub his speed off. He's on the inside. It leaves him vulnerable, and the 2 Sheffield boys took full advantage of it. And romped away for a much-needed thrill to them. I'm sure they would like to have banged a few more points in there so they could charge for that aggregate bonus point, but Jason Doyle at the back, he doesn't give up. He's a proper racer, he's a trier, but he couldn't get the measure of the Sheffield boys, and a 3-all to the home team.
Indeed it was. I thought that the Witches had this aggregate point, but you're right, Scotty, there. It's still on the cards, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a close run thing, and with that man Emil Sayfutdinov in your arsenal coming into heat 15, I mean, I don't want to. Well, I'm not going to say what I think can happen points wise because I don't want to put the curse on him. But man alive, he's just on another planet, and it's great to see. I think the Grand Prix scene are missing that boy.
They are indeed. So let's get some more reaction now with Abby.
Cal, thank you. We're just making sure we're not in anyone's way, Richie. Making another change in this heat.
Yeah, just putting Danyon in. Yeah, he's only had 3 rides, but he's gone pretty well tonight. So, yeah, give him another shot.
Just as we were listening to Calvin and Scott, saw you sort of, consoling Jason. Jason looked a bit angry.
Yeah, well, he don't like losing, which is good to see. That's why he's a winner. So, yeah, we're just getting ready for 15 because it's going to be important.
Thanks, Richie.
There we go. Tension in the pits, that's for sure. Battling awfully hard. Got to say, actually, heat 14 on paper looks strong for the home team here with Pickering and Howarth. Howarth will come out for his 7th ride. A reserve rider can have up to 7 rides. So Carl Howarth once again coming out for his last race of the evening. Erik has had a tough night, hasn't scored a point. Going to have to dig in deep now off the inside gate. And Danyon Hume likewise, because all of a sudden it kind of might have fallen just right here for the home team. Just a couple of points away from winning the night. So massive racing prospect for the home team here. And they could put some pressure on, potentially maybe getting the aggregate point as well. That really would be a bonus for them. Erik there on the inside has not scored a point this evening so far. So heat number 14 with Erik on the inside in white. Carl Howarth out for his 7th ride tonight out of gate number 2 in blue. Danyon Hume coming in as a reserve switch. Gate number 3 in yellow, and gate number 4 in red is Josh Pickering. As I said just a few moments ago, on paper, the Sheffield Tigers look stronger here, and they could well seal the deal to win the evening. But then they'll want to try and push on and pick up the 3rd and bonus point and pick up 3 points here this evening. Not over, of course. Erik may well be able to produce something and get himself in front. That will be the ideal scenario. It's been a good night at Speedway. The Witches have battled awfully hard. Got to give credit to the home team as well. Going down to 6 riders very early on with the injury to Louis Kerr. Here we go then. Big racing prospect. Riss has got there. He's made the start. He's out in front. Battled hard. Here comes Howarth up the inside. Round the outside. Pickering as well is in here. Erik now winding it on round, coming to the outside. Pickering now switches to the inside. Smart move from Josh Pickering. He's followed through now by Carl Howarth as well. Could well be the win on the cards here. Erik there after a terrific start. They just got out battled as they completed the first lap. Pickering out in front, the new signing beginning to wind it on out in front. Carl Howarth doing sterling work there now, under pressure from Erik for 2nd and 3rd, and Danyon Hume out the back, looking like it could be disappointment for the Ipswich Witches here tonight. 1 lap to go, and Josh Pickering winding it on out in front, and Howarth, who has worked overtime tonight in his 7th ride, is going to pick up a paid win here. Big 5-1, and the Sheffield Tigers are going to win the meeting, and they're closing in on the aggregate as well. All square on the aggregate as well, going into heat 15. Didn't see that coming, I really didn't. But fair play to the home team, they have ridden their socks off there. Simon Stead will be chuffed to bits with that. 2 points in the bag already. So sterling work there, and when you've got a reserve like Carl Howarth, he has covered the injury to Louis Kerr admirably. Josh Pickering finishing off in style with a fine win from him as well. First win of the evening, so he'll be pleased with that. But on paper it looks stronger to the home team, and so it proves. They capitalised there. Heat number 14, the result. Josh Pickering out in front, good ride from him, 3 points. Carl Howarth, what a night he's had. 2 points back in second place, third place for Erik Riss, and Danyon Hume just missing out in heat number 14. But Scotty, the home team have come through there in the end. They look stronger, and so it proved.
Fair play, Kelv. It's not over till the fat lady sings, and it's going down to the wire. A last heat decider. Could we have a super heat? But this race was super, Kelv. I mean, Erik Riss here, I felt like he had it in the bag. He desperately needed to get 3 points under his belt. You know what it's like as a racer when you're not winning races, you're coming back from injuries, and well, his is not really an injury, it's been a problem, but your confidence is down, and a win can certainly turn that around. But Carl Howarth there forced to move up the inside. You see Josh Pickering later on has a little look over, sees his teammate there, and yeah, what a result for the Sheffield Tigers. The Ipswich Witches desperately need points, Kelv, and that was a big, big win for the Tigers.
It was indeed, Scott, and I just sense that it was just a bridge too far, and the Ipswich Witches are going to have to do it all again and battle awfully hard. They're not out of it, of course, but for Josh Pickering there, clearly delighted to be winning races once again for the Sheffield Tigers. All square on aggregate going into Heat 15, so everything to race for there. The Witches, as an absolute minimum, will want to pick up the bonus point. Let's get some more reaction. Let's get to Abby.
Kelvin, thank you. Well, it is tense stuff. Obviously, it is the Tigers' win on the night, but in terms of that aggregate point, it is absolutely up for the taking. And who could it go to? Get your thoughts onto that hashtag using SheIps across all social media platforms. We've got the big Heat 15 coming up and that aggregate point. welcome back to Owlerton Stadium here in Sheffield, where it's the home side who have won on the night. But we've got an aggregate point up for offer this evening, and at the moment it is 87 apiece. Now, before we head to Scott Nicholls and hear from the managers on their picks for Heat 15, a reminder, if you're into your motorsport, you're going to enjoy what's coming up across the channel over the next couple of weeks. It includes the World Superbikes there in round 7, on round 7 in Imola, and you can catch that Saturday Eurosport 2 live from 8:30. Speedway Grand Prix will be in Sweden for round 6. Eurosport 2, the coverage starts at 5:30. And the FIM Motocross World Championship will be in the Czech Republic, and you can enjoy that on Sunday at 12 on Discovery Plus, and also the British Superbikes from Brands Hatch round 6, and that's on the 22nd and 23rd of July. Over to Scott Nicholls now with the team managers.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. It's come down to last heat decider. I'm going to come to Richie Hawkins, Ipswich team manager first. Richie, last heat decider. First off, who are you going to go with? What gate positions, please?
We've had 1 and 3, and Emil will be off 1, and Doyle will be off 3.
I saw you having a chat with Jason there, obviously trying to work out tactics. It's a hugely important Heat 15. You boys need a point, but how much input can you have on what they do in that first turn?
Yeah, just trying to work out what's going to, you know, where he needs to go. Jason's a bit disappointed at the moment with his speed and how he's gone tonight. So, you know, he's like one of the best guys in the world. You know, he's flying, so, you know, he'll turn it out for Heat 15.
He's not been a world champion because he's prepared to throw the towel in, so you've got confidence he can do the business.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, look, he's there fighting for a world title again this year. He's in top form, so, you know, a couple of bad heats, but this is the way where it matters.
Certainly is. I'm going to come to you, Simon. Simon, you boys have done exceptionally well to fight back and pull a 12-point deficit back, especially without Louis Kerr crashing out in early doors.
Yeah, just knuckled into it, Scotty. It's one of them things, obviously disappointing to lose a rider, but we all just got together, knew the job that we needed to do, and, you know, it's come down to the wire.
Wouldn't want to be in this Heat 15. Who are you going with and what gate positions, please?
We'll go with Jack Holder in red off gate 2 and Toby off 4 in blue.
Well, thanks a lot. Best luck to both of you. It's going to be a nail-biter. Before that happens, going to go over to Dave Road, give us an update from Wolverhampton.
Nail-biter here as well, Scott, with Bellevue 34-32 up after Heat 11, but Heat 12, the bad luck swings back Wolverhampton's way. Mistake by Ryan Douglas on the second bend. He spins out and goes down and is disqualified, and the restart sees the rider in yellow, Tom Brennan, making a really good start. Jamin Lidsey is the rider in white, unbeaten so far in the meeting, but Leon Flint in blue holding on for a crucial second place for Wolverhampton, but it's still a 4-2 to Bellevue, who had that crash involving Dan Bewley in Heat 11. Bewley not riding in the remainder of the meeting, but Bellevue going 4 points in front with that 4-2 in Heat 12, making it 38-34. As I say, no Dan Bewley in Heat 13. Tom Brennan coming in to ride in white, but it's Sam Masters and Rory Schlein making the best of the start, and crucially, as far as Wolves are concerned, squeezing out Brady Kurtz in yellow, has been such a high scorer around this track earlier in the season, the previous league match. Team riding from Sam Masters and Rory Schlein all the way to the flag, bringing the meeting back to all level with 2 weeks to go at 39 points apiece. Here's the action from Heat 14 then. Crucial race with Ryan Douglas back in play on the outside and turning back for the inside from gate 4 to move inside Charles Wright off the second bend. Vital move there by Ryan Douglas, but the Bellevue Ace is packing in for second and third places. It's Charles Wright in white and the hard-working Tom Brennan in yellow ahead of Zach Cook, and great to see Zach Cook back on his machine after that big crash with Dan Bewley in his previous race. Douglas leading round turns 3 and 4 for the second time. It's Charles Wright in second place. The 3-3 would keep things level heading into the last race, but if you look at the rider in white, Charles Wright, mechanical failure, can you believe it, on the third lap. He goes out of the race and Ryan Douglas comes through for a win and a 4-2, and we head towards a last heat decider at Monmore with a score of Wolves 43, Bellevue 41.
A last heat decider at Monmore Green, and here in terms of the aggregate point, you've got the big hitters out in Heat 15. They're out in Heat 13 as well, and they provided great entertainment as they did in Vauxhall a few weeks ago. Kelvin, all yours.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, a mouth-watering race to complete the evening. It's been a fine night of Speedway here at Owlerton, and of course down at Monmore Green as well. Terrific Speedway all round. But still, everything to race for here. There's no doubt that the Ipswich Riches would be desperate to try and go away with the aggregate point if at all possible, but Sheffield have done remarkably well tonight to square it all up going into Heat 15. What a lineup it is. A repeat of Heat 13, of course, but which way is it going to go? Will Emil Sayfutdinov be beaten here in Heat 15? We'll wait and see. Heat 15, the lineup then. Sayfutdinov off the inside in white. Jack Holder out of gate number 2 in red. Jason Doyle out of gate 3 in yellow, and Musielak off the outside in blue. Got to say that Jason Doyle has had the rough end of the stick a couple of times tonight, has not had the evening he was looking for, and he's got gate 3 once again here in Heat number 15. Not ideal. If it's a 3-all, of course, we will have a super heat to determine the aggregate point, so we may have another race to come here. Any advantage to either team, we'll see the aggregate point decided. So as I say, tension here, and in the context of the top 4, certainly for the Ipswich Witches, who are in 5th place, they need to grab something here if at all possible. The home team with 2 points in the bag already. In a super night, the weather has behaved. It looked a little uncertain earlier on this evening, but the sun has come out. Heat 15 then. Which way is it going to go? Oh, movement from Doyle there. Drama there. Did he touch the tapes? The red lights are on. Drama there. Do believe that Jason Doyle may have just charged the tapes and touched them. And as a consequence of that, he will be excluded. We'll see it again. See it now. He's moved. Yeah, he's touched the tapes. He's out. And I think there's a certain amount of frustration there from Jason Doyle. Hugely experienced rider. Nearly pulls his helmet off as well. So for Jason Doyle, a race to forget for him. But all the pressure now being put upon Emil Sayfutdinov for the Witches. But if he wins the race, and of course we will have then the discussion here with Richie Hawkins. Will they put him off 15 metres now? Probably will do. They've got nothing to lose. Yeah, it does appear that they will put him off 15 metres just in case anything untoward happens, a mechanical failure from one of the boys from Sheffield. Then he may well be able to pick up that vital point. Tense times. Still favour a super heat, you know. It's very much on the cards here. If Sayfutdinov gets away, Doyle's going to have to work overtime if he wants to get amongst the points here, being 15 metres behind. Wow, this is tense stuff. Clearly, Doyle there just trying to get away sharp. His gate number 3 has not worked well, and you can sympathise with him, but nonetheless, a disappointing outcome. So riders now just settling down for the second time of asking for this vital heat number 15. Sayfutdinov gets away, could easily be a super heat for the aggregate point. Don't go anywhere. Racing may not be over at the completion of this one. Here we go then. Heat number 15. Tapes up and we're away. Sayfutdinov's made a superstar. Jack Holder's alongside him. Tobiasz Musielak there into second place, now relegated to third. Holder now coming through round the outside. Emil Sayfutdinov, once he gets his nose in front, is an extremely difficult man to peg back. Jason Doyle off of 15 metres has really tailed off out the back. Can Holder or Musielak do anything about Emil Sayfutdinov out in front? Doesn't appear to be. Sayfutdinov really has been absolutely superb once he gets away. Made the start off the inside. Holder really winding it on. He's closing in second place. He's giving it absolutely everything there. Can he find a little bit more? We're into the last lap. Holder now really beginning to wind it on. He's round the air fence. Both of them are. Brilliant Speedway in Heat 15. Into the last corner. Sayfutdinov's going to hang on. Great effort from Jack Holder back in second place, and we've got a super heat for the aggregate point. What a night. Brilliant high-speed speedway there. Sayfutdinov has just been superb. He wins
Not comfortably, but he does win the race nonetheless, with Holder coming on so strong there. And 90 points each for the aggregate. So we will have an extra race for you this evening. The result of heat 15 then is Sayfutdinov winning the race, 3 points for him. Holder back in second place, 2 points. Musielak back in third, 1. And Jason Doyle, no surprise, missing out, having gone off at 15 metres. What a night it is. And Scotty, we've got some more racing to come, but that man once again, Sayfutdinov, just so good tonight.
He's unstoppable, Kel. But you spoke about that super heat, and when it comes to that, a win is not enough. You've got to be a team, and you've got to work as a pair. Second and third outplays a win. So as much as it's lovely to see Emil out front, he's going to need to work something with Jason Doyle in that super heat. Fantastic ride from Emil. Has a look over his shoulder. Jack Holder really worked hard to try and close down on Emil, but it wasn't to be. 3-all, and we go to that super heat. Can't wait.
What a night of Speedway, and it's not over yet. It's our first superheat, first televised superheat of the season. All these bonus points are going to be crucial, especially when it comes to the playoffs. Who is going to get that bonus point tonight? Use that hashtag SheIps. Who do you think it's going to go to? We have got another heat at Owlerton Stadium, and it's for the aggregate point. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Owlerton. So it is the aggregate point that we are poised for. Who will it go to? Sheffield Tigers or Ipswich Witches? It is 90 apiece as we go to our first super heat of the season. As we try and calm the excitement down and just remind you of the other sport that's coming your way, it includes cycling tomorrow, Eurosport 1 at stage 10 of Tour de France. We have also got the Tour de France Femmes, and that's the weekend of, well, the week of the 23rd to the 30th of July. Then UFC Fight Night in London, 22nd of July. TNT Sports, which is the new name for BT Sport, is launching on the 18th of July, and it's kicking off with the bang as Britain's top UFC stars, including Molly McCann and rising heavyweight Tom Aspinall. They'll be at the London O2 Arena, and coverage starts 4:45 on Saturday, live on TNT Sports 1 and Discovery Plus. Let's go to Scott Nichols with the team managers and see if they're staying with the same riders for this super heat.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. It's a bit deja vu. I'm sure I spoke to these boys a little while ago. I'm going to come to you, Simon. First, I'm going to ask who you're going for in your super heat.
Yeah, we'll go same pairing, Jack Holder and Toby.
Yeah, with this super heat, it's a first one. It's a different scoring system. So now the emphasis is not necessarily on about the win. It's about working as a team.
Yeah, that's right. And look, it's I think a lot will depend on gate position. So we're waiting for that one, aren't we?
I'll do the coin toss in a second. Richie, are you going with the same partnership as you had in Heat 15?
Yeah, we'll go the same again with Emil and Doyle.
Righto, well, I'm going to do that all-important coin toss. Bear with me, boys. Richie the call. Balanced it quite well. It is ahead. Richie, it's your choice.
We'll have 2 and 4.
Is there a theory by 2 and 4? You hoping you can get a partnership to work in that second and third? You're going all out for Emil to get the win?
No, second, third is free's the worst gate by far. So we've seen that all night, so we don't want to go off that.
Alrighty, thanks. And what lineup are you going with for us, please?
We'll go Toby on gate 1 and Jack off 3.
Yeah, so they're going with the same riders. Sheffield 1 and 3, Ipswich 2 and 4. Back to you, Abby.
Scotty, well done for balancing that coin. It's tense stuff here at Sheffield. What's it like at Mommel Green, Davo?
Very tense last heat decider, 43-41 to Wolverhampton. Sam Masters, Rory Schlein, Jamin Lidsey and Brady Kurtz for the Bellevue Aces, and problems for Jamin Lidsey on the start line. The start marshal coming to see what's going on, but some kind of mechanical issue for Jamin Lidsey, who's scored 10 points from 4 rides but will not score in Heat 15. He has been disqualified out of time. Jamin Lidsey out of Heat 15. Big blow for Bellevue. Tom Brennan coming in to replace him, but a good start by Sam Masters in red. Brady Kurtz in yellow trying to go around the outside, but Wolverhampton here may just have what they want, with Sam Masters having the advantage. Kurtz in second, through on the inside of Schlein, goes Brennan in white, so a 3-3 as things stand. Now what can Brady Kurtz do in yellow as he tries to reel in Sam Masters? Schlein trying to turn back on Brennan for third place. As things stand still, enough here for Wolves for a 2-point victory as they got against Bellevue in the end of May, but what can Brady Kurtz do in yellow? Masters leads from Kurtz. It's Brennan in third place with the Schlein out the back, and again Brady Kurtz tries to run around the outside off bend 2, but covered off by Sam Masters. The Wolverhampton skipper looks set to be taking his side to victory in this dramatic incident-filled meeting at Mommel Green. On to his last lap, it's Masters from Kurtz. It's Schlein still battling hard with Tom Brennan trying to get round him off the second bend, and he's done so. Rory Schlein gets round the outside, through into third place, and Wolverhampton will win this meeting. Sam Masters off the final bend, he wins it. Second is Kurtz, third is Schlein. Wolverhampton get the points, Bellevue get the aggregate. Final score, Wolves 47, Bellevue 43.
Well, it's been a great night of Speedway across the country. Tense stuff here, Scotty. Just had to do another coin toss.
Super, you know, trying to juggle a coin on my hand because I realised I couldn't drop my mic. Then I don't even know who's off what gate, so I hope it's come up on the TV somewhere.
Luckily, it's the same riders.
That's all I know. Same riders, go for it.
And they have been brilliant, these riders. This combination have proved so entertaining. Emil Sayfutdinov, though, has been in a class of his own this evening.
He has. He's been exceptional, but the emphasis on this race is second and third out play to win. So as much as we want to see Emil shrieking away, the boys are going out now. Second and third out plays to win.
Here we go then. Super heat. Kelvin, take it away.
Thanks, Abby. Yeah, just to put a bit more meat on the bones, what Scotty was saying about second and third, the point scoring for a super heat is 4 for a win, 3 for second, 2 for third, and nothing for coming fourth. So a second and third scores you 5 points, and a win only gets you 4. So got to work as a pair here, got to work as a team. Got to say I fancy the Witches off of gates 2 and 4. Certainly Jason Doyle off the outside will be looking for some sort of consolation here, having to fail to score in his last 2 rides. And
He's got a better gate this time, that's for sure. But still, tense times ahead in the superheat. So here we go then for the final time tonight. Tobiasz Musielak off the inside in red, Emil Sayfutdinov gate number 2 in white, Jack Holder out of gate 3 in blue, and Jason Doyle off the outside in yellow for our first super heat of the season. 4 for a win, 3 for second, 2 for third, and nothing for coming last. As I say, second and third beats a win, so got to ride as a pairing here. Which way is it going to go? The Witches have been hanging in there. Emil Sayfutdinov kept it going with a fine win in Heat 15. We're into Heat 16 now. It's been a great night at Speedway, tense times here. Extra bonus points will be crucial when it comes to the playoffs, that's for sure. Here we go then. We're away. They go roaring into the first corner. Sayfutdinov once again has got there. Doyle has missed out. Certainly looking like it's going to be the Sheffield Tigers packing into second and third. Emil Sayfutdinov out in front. Musielak coming through into second place now. Jack Holder back in third. Can Jason Doyle land a blow here? He's desperately looking to get through into third place if at all possible. Sayfutdinov, as he's done all night long, has cleared off out in front. Jack Holder now riding right alongside Tobiasz Musielak. It's going to be awfully difficult for Jason Doyle to land a blow from there. We're down the back straight. It's looking like the superheat's going to go the way of the Sheffield Tigers into the last lap. Sayfutdinov has cleared off out in front. The Sheffield boys aren't worried about that, because they know right now, with half a lap to go, that the aggregate point, the bonus point, is going to go the way of the home team, and they're going to pick up all the points here tonight. Desperately disappointing for the Ipswich Witches, but joy for the Sheffield Tigers. They've got all the points tonight. Fabulous night at Speedway. Smashing ride once again from Emil Sayfutdinov on the individual side of it, but with Jack Holder and Tobiasz Musielak packing in for second and third, they walk away with 3 points. What a big night for the Sheffield Tigers. Emil Sayfutdinov has been outstanding, but Jason Doyle just couldn't get away there. Great way to finish the night, action-packed throughout. But as I say, the aggregate goes to the Sheffield Tigers. And despite the efforts of Emil Sayfutdinov, the Tigers there were just in the right place at the right time. Been a great night of Speedway, brilliant advert for the Premiership. Emil Sayfutdinov, 4 points for him. Jack Holder in second place, 3 for him. Tobiasz Musielak back in third, 2, and Jason Doyle misses out. So, what a night of Speedway it's been. And just take us through this, Scotty, and another great start from Emil Sayfutdinov.
Yeah, Emil's been in a class of his own tonight, Kel, but the emphasis on this race was not about winning, it's about bagging in that second and third, and the Sheffield Tigers rode it perfectly. Obviously, it was going to be a real difficult choice for the team manager on what gates to go for. Richie Hawkins said that at gate 3 had been pants and had gone off, but it actually started to come good towards the end. And here, Emil, it's so easy to sit here, Kelv, and say that Emil could have slowed and should have slowed the race up, but the racer in him just rocketed away, and you can see what it meant to Simon said there. The bonus point goes to the Tigers.
Yeah, difficult one. Certainly, if you slow down here, there's no doubt that you can get swallowed up, aren't you, because you're carrying so much speed. But nonetheless, a tense finish tonight. Got a feel for the Witches, but the Sheffield Tigers going down to 6 men. They've done a fine job.
They certainly have, Kelv. Against the Witches, they were desperate for points, and you have to feel for them because they needed to turn something around. They needed the points, they didn't get it, and I mean, for me, they were the pick to go all the way this year at the beginning, and they're certainly not having it all their own way, Kelv.
Absolutely, yeah, they were one of the red-hot favourites for the title, but it hasn't proven to be the case. They had an injury to Jack Thomas prior to the season starting, but and Erik obviously with the health issues. But I've got to say, on sort of like just
you know, just reflecting on the night, Scott, I think that the Sheffield Tigers have sort of flexed their muscles a little bit tonight, haven't they? They've shown great resolve, and they look a force to be reckoned with.
They have, Kelv, used that word resolve, and they certainly showed that Ipswich are putting them under pressure early doors. And obviously the bonus point, I mean, partway through that we thought the bonus point was out of reach for the Sheffield Tigers, and without Louis Kerr it was all stacked against them. But fair play to them, they've pulled it back, they've gone to the Super Heat, they've got the points, and the pressure now is firmly on the Witches if they want to make that top 4 for the playoffs.
Yeah, indeed they will, and they'll have to work awfully hard. But Abby, let's just wrap it all up. Let's get down to her now in the pits.
I'm going to hope that Simon wraps it all up. What a super heat.
What a super heat. You know, obviously with the scoring system a bit different in that one, we knew a second and third was good enough. So I was a little bit disappointed we didn't win the toss, but you know, the boys pulled it out of the bag. I'm so pleased to be able to do what we've done tonight without Louis as well. Great effort from every single one of them. So yeah, delighted.
Yeah, just about to say that, to lose Louis Kerr early on, and then you had the exclusion of Adam Ellis as well, and to get that lead and to get all 3 points leaving here this evening.
Well, that's going to be really important, Abby. You know, looking at the situation in the playoffs right now, we're battling with Ipswich at the moment, so that could prove really vital come the end of the season. So I'm really chuffed that we got that done.
We're chuffed for you, Steady. Thank you so much. So a reminder of all the sport that is happening, including the British Speedway, will be back in action next Monday, and we'll be in Manchester. So it will be Bellevue versus Ipswich. So we'll be seeing the Witches back out again. And it's the World Superbikes. They'll be in Imola for round 7. You can see that Eurosport 2 Saturday at 8:30. We'll be in Sweden, so you can join Scott, myself and Calvin. Speedway Grand Prix and the studio show starts at 5:30 Eurosport 2, and you can see the Wimbledon finals, both the men's and the women's. That'll be at 1:30 on Eurosport 2 this weekend. We've got highlights every night at 10 o'clock as well. Scotty, we're joined again. A great night at Speedway. It looked like it was really exciting, Wolverhampton as well, but to go down to the wire and the super heat is what Speedway fans want.
Oh man, I mean, it's honestly thought it was going to be an uphill battle for Sheffield, although they've been super strong at home. You know, with Doyle and Emil, I think Doyle was a little bit off tonight, and that really played into Sheffield's hands. And going into that super heat, it's hard for a racer. Emil's on a mission right now. He's riding fantastically well, and to kind of win a race and not get the glory is tough. But the Tigers played it. They knew what they were going to do, and for Steady, it was going to be tough to go for gate positions, but it worked out for them, and they've got the points, and the pressure is now on the Witches.
Yeah, and it gave the crowd a lot to cheer about here at Sheffield. We'll be back in action next Monday. Join us in Manchester, 7:30, Bellevue versus Witches. We look forward to seeing you then.